Thomas Paine, Sam Adams, Benjamin Franklin. These men spoke up for what they thought was right. From their courage came such documents as the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution of the United States. From their willingness to speak what was sometimes unpopular but right, we enjoy such liberties as freedom of speech, the right to keep and bear arms, and freedom of religion. There are those who still wish to oppress our freedoms, and there are still patriots willing to stand up and defend life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Men like Zeb Bell, who honor our founding fathers and what they stood for. It's now time for Zeb at the ranch, speaking up and defending your freedoms. Brought to you by Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers and all of the other great advertisers on the program. And now, Zeb Bell.
You can probably tell a lot about a woman's mood just by her hands. If they are holding a gun, she's probably unhappy. Good morning, everybody. Here comes Kate Smith and God Bless America, followed by a patriot with our Pledge of Allegiance. Good morning, good morning. Oh, thank you very much. And there is the lovely Kate Smith. And God bless America. Good morning, everybody. I'm Zeb Bell at Zeb at the Ranch with our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you, along with some of our really, really great advertisers, including Ramsey Heating and Electric at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. You better believe it. Appreciate those good folks. Oh, my goodness. And, thank you. I got that message, Wheels. I appreciate it much. Along with Valley Wide Home and Ranch. Everything goes off at once. Valley Wide Home and Ranch, 910 South Oneida in Rupert. Everything for the farm, the home, and the ranch at Valley Wide Home and Ranch. Oh, let's get our Pledge of Allegiance in here. Good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning.
Well, a strange caller. What is your name, caller?
My name is Damon.
Oh, well, then give us a pledge, please.
Will do. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Very
well done. And right now it's time for the weather. And the weather is brought to everybody by Cheney Flooring and Home Design, 1228 Oakley Avenue in Burley. All you have to do is look for the blue door. Newly refurbished furniture, all your carpet and flooring, kitchen construction. They are really good at kitchen construction. Whatever you need to make your house a home. Cheney Flooring and Home Design in Burley, serving you. Right now, here's Michael Rogers' weather. Hello.
Hi, good morning. I was just going over the weather, and I wanted to make sure that when I give you the forecast, that what it's supposed to be was sunny all the way through the weekend. I wanted to make sure that's what you're going to get. And that's exactly what you're going to get. Morning, everybody. Sunny today, should be clearing down. Usually probably mostly cloudy skies throughout the weekend, but otherwise you're done with the storm part. Daytime highs will be in the mid-80s. Overnight lows will be in the upper 50s. And there you have it. Have a great day. Enjoy the weather. Similar weather you got.
All right. Thank you very much. And the weather brought to you by Cheney Flooring and Home Design, 1228 Oakley Avenue in Burley. The number to call, 678-6945. And look for the blue door. Really good folks at Cheney Flooring and Home Design. Hey, Merv May, come on in here. Let's sell some cattle today, shall we?
All right. Good set of steer calves there. Here to get $1.31, $1.30, $1.30, $32.
Oh, that's the chant of the world's best auctioneer, Merv May, at the Burley Livestock Sale Yard, 1100 Occidental Avenue in Burley. Number to call for more information about consignments and the sale at 678-9411. They will be starting the sale at 10:30 this morning. 10:30 this morning. Here's a partial list of what's going to go through the ring today. Kelly Searle of Burley bringing in 40 head of Holstein steers. Butcher cows coming in from Antelope Hills Dairy. Ray Sorensen over to Howell, Utah, along with Oak Valley Dairy, Acme Dairy in Oakley, all of them bringing in a whole bunch of butcher cows, and of course the trailer line run. 10:30 starting time, and by the way, I want to stop like I did last week, and I want to tell you the Burley Livestock Commission Company, of course, always saluting June Dairy Month, and of course we thank the United Dairymen of Idaho and June Dairy Month with all the great products, the cheese, the ice cream, milk, and the Burley Livestock Sale Yard says a big salute to June Dairy Month. There you have it, sale time at 10:30 this morning. All right, Merv, let's sell those steers, shall we?
All right, you get set of steer calves there. Here to get $31, 1.5, 31, 1.5, 32, 2.5, 3.5, 134, 4.5, 5.5, 5.5, 135, 50, 135 and a half, selling $35. Does that bell get the bottom again?
Oh, I don't mind that. That's a good price. I'll tell you what, I'll take it. Better than I've ever had. Hey, don't forget the off-road poker run that's sponsored by Let's Ride. It's going to be this Saturday, June 13th, meeting at the Cottonwood Trailhead at 10 a.m. sharp. Now, if you're one of those kind of people that thinks, well, I'll get there when I get there, and then everybody's going to wait on you, you better be there at 10 o'clock sharp at Cottonwood Trailhead, and then they'll go up to Father and Son Campground, and lunch will be served, compliments of Let's Ride. Going to be a lot of fun on this Saturday. Don't you miss it. By the way, I also want to say thank you very much to Valleywide Home and Ranch, and Mandy and everybody over there, Sean, great folks. Valleywide Home and Ranch, everything you need for the farm, the home, and the ranch. And don't forget that Antique Tractor Show is going to be coming up, I believe, next week. Yeah, that's right. And that's going to be right over at Valleywide, 910 South Oneida in Rupert. Now, Mandy sent me some notes. And, man, that phone scares me to death. We're going to go ahead and remind you that they've got tons and tons of fly spray and bug spray over at Valleywide Home and Ranch. It's getting hot out there, and those nasty, pesky little bugs and flies are coming out, but they've got all this stuff to kill them dead over at Valleywide Home and Ranch. You better believe it. 910 South Oneida in Rupert with a great fishing department, too. At Valleywide Home and Ranch, you stop in and see those good folks today, okay? And also, real quick, and then we'll start taking some phone calls. I want to remind you about Ramsey Heating and Electric at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. They really open the doors at 7:30 in the morning, Monday through Friday, and they say, come on in. We've got all your heating and electric and air conditioning needs, everything right there, including all those air filters for those air conditioners. I know a lot of you. I had a call yesterday. A guy said, hey, I didn't think I was going to have to use my air conditioner this quick, but I am, and I need a new air filter, and I know where to go. Ramsey Heating and Electric at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. Number to call, they'll have it waiting for you, 678-0459, where they provide warm winters and cool summers. All right, calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Give me a call on the landline. I have a question for you today, and I'd really appreciate an answer on this from many, many people. The way the government is going right now, and the way that the laws are being regulated, what are you going to do if laws made by men are contradictory and basically against God's Word? What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Are you really a Christian? Are you going to stand up and say, no, I will not obey that law because it is contradictory to the Bible and what God's Word is? Or are you going to fall right in lockstep with the government and the laws that take you away from what God's Word is? I'll give you some examples. Like gay marriage. It's against God's Word. But now the Supreme Court is going to look at that. They're going to decide whether it is legal or not. And this could really be an albatross around all of our necks in the acceptance of that life as being normal, which it is not, and also the transgenderism. And we're going to have to probably take a stand, if we go along with man's law, in supporting it. Now, are you going to stand up for what is right and what you learned as a Christian, or are you going to go along with man's law that are made by phony, plastic, disposable politicians? Now, not all of them fall under that category of phony, plastic, and disposable, but the majority right now today. What are your thoughts? Come on, you've got to give kind of some thought to this, because it's getting more so every day that you're going to have to make some decisions as to whether you're going to follow man's guidance or God's guidance. Caller, you're on the air. Good morning. What are your thoughts? Evidently the dial tone, and I never could understand the dial tone dialect. I just don't understand the verbiage. Give me a call, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. While I'm waiting for your call that I know is coming in, don't forget Barry Equipment and Rental. They've got all the equipment to get the job done right for you. They've got all the Doosan equipment, the Bobcats, the Coyote lines. They've got top-notch people at all three locations to serve you, to make sure that you get the equipment you want, whether you're renting or buying. They've got locations on Addison Avenue West in Twin Falls, South Lincoln and Jerome, and a huge location right there at 159 West Highway 30 in Burley. Barry Equipment and Rental. You stop in and see those good folks today. All right, come on, give me a call. I want to hear your thoughts on this. Don't sit there like meek sheep. Voice your opinion. Are you, the way things are going in this country, are you going to follow your biblical beliefs or follow in lockstep with what man is trying to tell you and make you honor? What are you going to do? Denny's Restaurant, while I'm waiting for your call, 611 Overland and Burley. Oh, what a great place to eat. I wish I could get off this diet and just go to Denny's and enjoy the breakfast and the lunch and the dinner. I look forward to the lunch bunches so I can go in there and splurge. I just love the food, and the service is fantastic at 611 Overland and Burley. Denny's Restaurant. Thomas and Terry, the whole crew, and their new location at 291 Pole Line Road in Twin Falls. Absolutely the best, with our next lunch bunch coming up next week on the 18th. Don't miss it at Denny's Restaurant. It is good. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning, Zeb. How you doing today?
I am fantastic. Thank you.
Well, according to this question that you just asked, here's my thought on this, that if a man's law conflicts with God's law, I'll in my heart know that abiding by God's law is the best way to go. But if it would cause me a potential fine or prison time or a criminal charge or some kind that was brought against me if I followed man's law, then I'll just go ahead and follow man's law. But I'll know in my heart that it's wrong, and I'll follow God's law in my own mind.
No, I've got to argue with you on that. I absolutely disagree with that, because you're just basically catering to and falling into lockstep with those that are wanting to lead us into a more secular nation and destroy the Word of God. And it's time the Christians stood up. That is the problem right now with Christianity. And I do not mean to make you mad, sir, but we're not standing up and we're not standing tough. Don't tell me that you can follow man's law and in your heart say to God, oh, well, this is just a stage issue. It's like a false front building in the Old West. No, God knows in your heart whether or not you believe in what you're doing or not, and you can't follow one and then imitate the other.
Well, that's your view on it. And if you disagree, that's fine. I don't,
So if somebody told you, sir, with man's law, and to go out and do something illegal, do something illicit, do something that would harm others, because now that's the law of the land, you would go do it because that's man's law, but in your heart we would say, oh, God, I really don't want to follow this.
Well, when you put it into a situation like that, where it would cause me to break a law and harm somebody,
no, then I wouldn't do it. I would refuse.
All right, let's use another scenario. And it's happening every day in this country, and it's getting bigger and stronger. Somebody says you are not allowed to worship anymore and go to a church on Sunday because we're going to start initiating an energy policy where traveling on Sunday is illegal and there will be no more church going. What are you going to do?
Well, I would probably walk to church then.
Oh, now come on. Don't give me a kind of a silly answer like that, because in the rural area, 10, 15 miles, you're not going to walk to church.
Well, depends on how far away you are from your church.
Oh, now you're wishy-washying on the issue.
Well, anyway, this is the way that I see it. You can agree to disagree, I guess.
All right, sir. I appreciate your call.
Do something that's I'm not going to do something that's going to cause me a problem, or hurt somebody, or harm somebody, or possibly put me in jail if I know that it's wrong.
Well, you just admitted that you would go along with the herd. You would go along with what was told instead of following the edicts of what the Bible preaches for you to live a godly life. And you're telling me that, oh, well, I'll just go along with them and do what they think. But in my heart, I'll tell God, gee, I really don't mean to do this. That doesn't cut the cake.
See, your original question was a broad generalization, and then you made some specifics, which then I took and went away from the society's law.
Doesn't any broad question have to be narrowed down to specifics? If laws are made by men, the question was really simple. If laws are made by men that are contradicting and basically against God's word and your beliefs, what will you do? That was my question. I've got it written right here.
Okay, well, let's just agree to disagree on this one, Zeb.
All right, buddy. Thank you for your call. I appreciate it.
You too. Have a good day.
Calls are welcome. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I honestly, firmly believe that there has to be a line in the sand. You have to draw that line, and you have to say enough is enough. Or what I said earlier is coming to fruition. They don't want you to worship. They don't want you to have God as the supreme being. They want the government. They want politicians. They want everything to be evolving and revolving around them. Mini-Cassia Relay for Life is coming up on June 19th and 20th at the Cassia County Fairgrounds. And if you'd like to make a donation to the Mini-Cassia Relay for Life, contact Patty Shockey at 670-2975. That number again, 670-2975. And it's going to start on the 19th at 6 p.m. at the Cassia County Fairgrounds and go all evening till the next morning on the 20th. Mini-Cassia Relay for Life. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Yes, good morning, Zeb.
Yes, sir.
If we followed God's law, we probably would have lost World War II because, he says that vengeance is mine, saith the Lord. So what do you do there?
No, wait a minute. Whoa. They didn't mention specifically World War II in the Bible. And I honestly believe that when you fight for what is right, you do have God's vengeance with you. I honestly believe that. And to sit back and just say, well, he's going to take care of everything, that's not possible, Tony.
No, absolutely not. That's why we went ahead and won World War II, because when it come time to drop the bomb on Japan, we just went ahead and did it.
Yeah. But, it does boil down to laws are every day being looked at and trying to be passed that would take away a society that has faith, a society that has morality, a society that believes in goodness, and they want this helter-skelter approach, and you've got to draw a line in the sand. I firmly believe this, and you have to say, wait a minute. If this is against God's word, then I am definitely not going to adhere to that law.
It's the same thing with the self-defense law. You got to protect yourself no matter what.
I agree. And I'd rather protect myself for eternity than I would just here on earth.
Absolutely.
All right, Tony. Thank you for your call.
Okay,
thank you very much. Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Think about that, though. I mean, we've all got, or should have, some kind of a railroad track to run on. And are we going to always have these little offshoots that we're going to, okay, fine, I'll change my ways here. Oh, okay, well, I'll change my ways here. Oh, well, you don't like that, I'll change my way there. No, I'm not going to do that. We are looking at very corrupt times right now, where men, mere mortals, want to keep changing everything so that it benefits certain segments of our society and or their pockets. And I think we have to stand up and say, enough is enough. Celebrating June Dairy Month, our friends at Sportsman's Warehouse, 1940 Bridgeview Boulevard in Twin Falls. Reese and the rest of the crew say they got all the Father's Day gifts over there. Fishing equipment, hunting equipment, camping equipment. Sportsman's Warehouse always has it all. You stop in and see them today for Father's Day, coming up in just a matter of days. Along with Butte Irrigation. Oh my, these are good folks. 2 locations, and they have, of course, location at 116 South, 600 West of Paul, and the other one at 22342 Kimberly Road in Twin. Now, Bryce is at the Paul store, and Paul is at the Kimberly store. Are you confused? No, don't be. They're really good people serving you with all of your irrigation needs. Butte Irrigation will get you wet, and they send to you the very best for a happy and fun-filled June Dairy Month. Thank you very much. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I thought a lot more people would weigh in on this because we all get up and lots and lots of us go to church on Sunday morning and we say we're going to follow God's Word, and then Monday morning comes along and some politician introduces a new piece of legislation which chips away and erodes our value system, and we just jump right on the bandwagon and say, oh, yeah, I'll follow that. Think about it. Give me a call, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. While I'm waiting for your calls, I want to remind you, too, about Christine Pickup, Doctor of Audiology. This lady is just absolutely so smart when it comes to hearing and knowing about your lack of hearing. Hold on, caller. You got to wait just a minute. Don't hang up. Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids, right behind the Minidoka Hospital, across from the emergency room, and the number to call for a hearing screening is 312-0957. She's really helped me, and I know she can really help you. She's been in this industry for over 10 years and really understands. Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids. Give them a call today, 312-0957. Here now quickly, and caller, don't hang up. I'll be right there. The Capital Press Ag Minute.
Today's Ag Minute brought to you by the Capital Press, the West Ag Weekly.
The USDA's Farm Service Agency is seriously over budget on a completed system overhaul that achieves only a fraction of the intended goals, an internal audit found. The agency has spent $444 million on the project known as MIDAS, which is roughly $140 million more than projected in 2010, the USDA Office of Inspector General says. The MIDAS project also remains unfinished about 2 years after its expected completion date. The USDA stopped work on it last year for reevaluation. The project was intended to revamp the Farm Service Agency's computerized system for overseeing farm subsidies and other programs, reducing the agency's reliance on high-risk technology. For the Capital Press Ag Minute, I am Raul Peña.
For more agriculture news and information, turn to the West Ag Weekly, the Capital Press, and CapitalPress.com.
Brought to you by Mount Harrison Audiology. Please call for a hearing screening today at 312-0957. Wonderful people serving you. Wheels, I can't turn anything up here anymore. I'm going to get some feedback, I'm afraid. Can you please give me a little bit more feed from the callers and that type of thing on in my headsets, please? It's really low this morning. Thank you. I appreciate it. Caller, I'm so sorry to keep you waiting. Go ahead, please.
Good morning.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I was sitting here last night watching some of this stuff you're talking about, and I tell you what, I've never seen a bunch of gutless jackasses in my whole life as we've gotten in this administration now as ambassadors and everything else. If them ambassadors over there in that Arab country want to take and cut our 4th of July off so we don't interfere with Ramadan, I say bring your butt home and forget about it.
Oh, Al, there is a never-ending list of demands on us to change our ways for others, and this is why I asked that question. Little by little, and I think you can see it because you listen and watch to the news every day, but little by little, don't you see what I'm talking about? How men want everything honoring men instead of taking us away. They want to take us away from our churches, our beliefs, our morality, and we're being led right down the primrose path.
I know it, and it's getting damn sick and tired of it because the 4th of July was the 4th of July, and you don't take it to June the 4th.
Absolutely.
Or August the 4th.
Absolutely.
It's July the 4th, keep it that way. And all the rest of them holidays you've changed, put them back the way they was and keep your damn nose out of it.
And I am especially going to celebrate harder this year on the 4th of July because there are those that want to change it. I think all of us should, Al.
That's right.
All right, my friend.
I'm flying my flag this Flag Day, and anybody don't like it, don't come out here at my place because I'll probably run you off.
Hooray! Thank you, sir. I like that. Good spirit.
Bye-bye.
You betcha. Hey, calls are welcome. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Don't forget Minnecasia Sales. We're going to be talking to Zach over at Minnecasia Sales a little bit later on this morning. They've got everything for your summer projects, all your lumber projects. They've got all those great Western windows and save on your heating and cooling bills, and they've got all the good quality carpet. They've got everything over at Minnecasia Sales, including all the Tartar Farm and Ranch equipment, too. Zach and the rest of the crew, Minnecasia Sales, right across from the airport. Number to call, 878-2091. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
You know, Zeb, there would have been a time in this country when, you know, we look at what is going on right here, and you would have, 10 years ago, maybe 15, you would have said, no way in hell could that ever happen? Could that ever happen?
Yep.
And now, every day, you know, it's just like, you know, if you ask somebody to do something for you, whether or not it's the most outrageous thing or not, and they contemplate it, and then they end up saying yes, and you say, well, there's no way I should have ever asked you to do anything of the sort. Why would you ever have said yes? And it's amazing. Is it ignorance, or are we just so damn nice that we just forgive and forget all the time, and we say, well, it's all right. We'll work harder ourselves to make up for your whatever. And it's amazing how far we have gone,
yeah,
and we continue to compromise with these.
Randy, let me ask you a question real quick. Are you still there?
Yeah, I am. I thought you were cut off.
No. Let me ask you a question. Where do you draw the line? Where do we, as supposedly being Christian people, where do we draw the line? Do we always sit back like sponges and say, oh, okay, well, our elected officials have made this a law, so we have to do this. Our elected officials have passed a law that says, no, you can't go to church on Sunday because it's an extra energy waster. Save your gas for just the weekdays, work days. Are we going to sit back and absolutely see our lives, our morality, and our absolute right and wrongs destroyed by government officials that are secularists? Is that what we're going to let happen?
Well, it's just like we've said so many times. We're all sitting in this pot. It's like all sitting in the hot tub, and we're having a good time, you know, we're drinking or whatever, and more people are getting in, and then it's, you know, and they just got the heat up, just our skin's starting to just peel right off of our bones, and we don't even know it. We're just oblivious.
Yeah.
I don't know, Zeb. I don't know. You just say to yourself, you know, I tell you, you just don't know when it's going to end, and you just, like every time, you say, can we have a silver lining day where they say, look at what's happening, look how good it is, what a great thing, look what the people of America are doing. And I guess in some cases they are, but boy, there's days when you just are sick of it.
I agree, Randy. Thank you for your call, as always. Appreciate it. You got to, you know that country song by Aaron Tippett? It's called "If You Can't Stand for Something, You'll Fall for Anything." To the first caller that called in this morning, think about those words. If you can't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. How true. I know my good friend Wheels over at the main studios and he's got an itchy trigger finger. And Wheels, if you would, caller, we're going to ask you to wait just 30 seconds. Wheels, if you would, Silver State Stampede right now. Thank you very much.
Nevada's oldest rodeo, the Silver State Stampede, thunders into Elko July 9th, 10th, and 11th for family entertainment at its best. This PRCA-sanctioned rodeo brings you the thrill of rodeo riders going head-to-head in one of the world's toughest sports, rodeo. The action kicks off on Thursday with the annual kickoff party, including a tri-tip dinner, mutton busting, the Old West bronc riding, and dancing to the music of the Jeff Palmer Band. Things heat up on Friday and Saturday with PRCA rodeo action, the Ring of Fear, mutton busing, and all the fun, music, and dancing you can handle. And don't forget on Saturday, it's tough enough to wear pink. Pick up your tickets today at Roy's, the J.M. Capriola Company, the Boot Barn, IFA, or the Elko Chamber Office. Nevada's oldest rodeo, the Silver State Stampede, thundering into Elko July 9th, 10th, and 11th. Family entertainment at its very best.
All right. Thank you very much, caller. Thank you for your patience. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, good morning, Zeb. You know, over 150 years ago, they started what they call compartmentalization, and that had to apply with religion, politics. In other words, take, for example, Bill Clinton. His private life, you know, it had no bearing on his political life. I mean, of course, we know that's totally false. Washington said, what a guy's doing in private, he's doing in public. So take a look at Bill Clinton, and you can see what was happening to us in that regard. That Christians are supposed to be told, you know, to just do the work in the four walls of your church, and outside of that, don't get involved in politics. You know, the politicians will take care of that.
Yeah, and that's just the problem right now, Adrian. We are letting politicians take from us our value system here in America, and once it's gone, it's going to be gone forever.
Well, and there's just not enough. Everybody, okay, the vote on the Trans-Pacific Partnership is tomorrow.
Yeah, but wait a minute. Whoa, Adrian, wait a minute. No, I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to go there right now this morning. I know the vote's tomorrow. That's off subject right now. I want to stay on subject.
Okay, this is a subject because people get involved outside of the church.
Well, I'm talking about other subjects right now, and it's really not fair to me to go and branch off into that. You know that the Trans-Pacific Trade Agreement is something that I'm against, and we've talked about on numerous occasions. All I'll say is the vote's tomorrow, and I hope people call their congressmen and their senators and let them know how disgruntled they are with it. But I'm not going to get off subject here this morning.
Okay, well, anyway, tomorrow's the vote. Call Simpson, tell him no, because our senators already voted yes, unfortunately.
I know.
So, anyway, that's the part we need to get involved in, folks. Make the calls.
I appreciate it, sir. Thank you very much. You know, the other day on my program, and by the way, I want to thank Fred and Joyce Preston. About 2 years ago, they gave me one of the greatest books I've ever had. It's called God Bless America, and it's prayers and reflections for our country. And this little handbook, and I don't know if they're aware of it or not, has meant so much to me, but there was one quotation in there. I read it the other day on the program, and I'll read it again because it's very appropriate for the question and the subject matter that we're talking about this morning. George Washington said this in the 1700s. It is impossible, rightly to govern the world without God and the Bible. Now, I'd like to hear some of the liberals take issue with that. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Stand by, caller. Don't forget Ramsey Heating and Electric with Lennox and rebates on Lennox home comfort systems. Whether it's a gas furnace, an air conditioner, or a heat pump, you and your family will always enjoy the comfort. Call them today, save money, and always have warm winters and cool summers with Ramsey Heating and Electric and Lennox. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Hey, Hoss, this is the chief.
Yeah, buddy, go ahead. Speak up louder, please.
I think that there's a conspiracy, there's something going on with the system that they want to destroy the politicians and the people in Washington and these fabulously rich people that are controlling this stuff wanted us to forget about our religion and all that and tear us down and then build us back up in this wonderland system of give everybody what they want and we'll control everything and right down to the last little bit of each person's life. You know, I think that these politicians and stuff are not stupid. They know what they're doing. And I have always felt with that thought in the back of my mind, well, wonder if I was captured and taken prisoner and they had me by the arms and was saying, deny Christ, deny your religion, and we'll let you go. Well, what a decision to make.
Wait a minute. Whoa. Chief, stop for a minute. That's the question right there. You've touched on it. Are people going to stand for their convictions, or are they going to hide their convictions just to go along with man's law? You've got to figure out a time in your life, and this is stated many times in the Bible. You've got to figure out what you're going to do, how you're going to do it, and how you're going to stand up for your beliefs.
Yeah, I would hope that we would all stand shoulder to shoulder to stop evil. Because I wouldn't deny Christ. I wouldn't deny the Father in heaven and everything. Because I know there's going to be a judgment day.
There you go.
And you've got these gays and lesbians and these abortionists and all these people that are anti-religion. Well, I'm going to have a good chuckle when Judgment Day comes.
Well, I'll tell you something, Chief. The point you raised right there was the point I was after all morning long, and I appreciate that because there is going to come a day. There is going to come a day, and for those out there that scoff at this, I pity them. But there's going to come a day when you're going to have to make that decision as to whether, the question was earlier, if laws are made by man, are you going to follow them if they're contradictory and basically against God's word? You summed it up right there, Chief. God bless you. I got to get a weather forecast in, man. Thanks. Great point. Thank you very much. Right now, let's get the weather in. And, oh, my goodness, this lady is so talented. Nicole over at Mad River Laser. You know, parade season's coming up, and she can make all the business promotional items that you want to hand out in the parade for your business. Daddy's Day's around the corner. My goodness, all the aprons and the barbecue kits and the coffee mugs and the buck knives that are engraved. Always great gift-giving ideas, along with the June weddings. I mean, she's busy, and she just absolutely would like to work for you at Mad River Laser, 502 East Street in Rupert. Thank you very much. Here's Michael Rogers' weather.
Here's your weather forecast for Zeb at the Ranch. It is going to be a nice day today, slightly breezy. Winds out of the northwest right around 9 miles an hour. Some clouds in the area, but not too bad. High of 83. Tonight, expect a low near 56. Now for tomorrow, the winds are going to be picking up out of the west right around 20 miles an hour, but it's going to be nice and sunny. High of 84 with an overnight low of 50. That's going to continue through Saturday. Still going to be a little bit on the windy side. Out of the west right around 13 miles an hour. Sunny skies. High of 83 with an overnight low of 50 for Sunday. Sunny skies, high of 84. And as we go back to work on Monday, looks like mostly sunny skies, high of 90. That's your weather forecast for Zeb at the Ranch.
You know what, Wheels? That didn't sound like Michael, and you told me that. That was on me. My fault. My bad. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. And that's the weather brought to you by Mad River Laser at 502 East Street in Rupert. Number to call, 436-2293. Number to call here, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. You know, if I stepped on anybody's toes this morning and they feel like, oh, well, Zeb, wait a minute, I feel like you're putting me down for my attitude. There's two ways I can address that feeling. Number one, I am not going to apologize for feeling that we have to stand up for our morality and our beliefs. I'm not going to apologize for that. And if you felt stepped on or put down over that issue, then maybe you and I should have a reevaluation, and we'll talk more about it in the future. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning, Zeb.
Yes, sir.
I'm a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and I'm very proud of it. And we have what they call the 13 Articles of Faith. And in one of the articles it says, we will obey the laws of the land. But here a few years ago, Idaho decided they needed this lottery. It was a necessity. And my faith was against it. I actually paid money to for it and everything else, but yet it passed, and now it is a law of the land.
Well, wait a minute. Whoa, Keith. Keith, wait a minute. You made a point, and I want to address your point. I don't care if it's Presbyterian, if it's Lutheran, Catholic, Mormon, doesn't make any difference. We all have our faith and we all have our beliefs. But you said to follow the law of the land. But when the law of the land basically snubs its nose at the Bible and Christian teachings, in the Bible, Christ walked into the temple and the money changers absolutely knew he was teed off, and he chased them out of there, and there was no doubt in their minds that he didn't like that kind of activity. So there are times when you have to stand up and say no to the law of the land and follow the law of what the Bible dictates.
Yeah, but the point I was going to get to was the fact that we have this in the law now, but we don't have to participate in it.
Yeah.
It is something you have your free agency to do. I do not advocate it in any way, because I believe the only people that play the lottery are poor people who are wanting to get better off, and it makes them worse off.
I've learned a long time ago that if I go to the racetrack, or if I go gamble, or if I buy a lottery ticket, I have kissed that money goodbye. That's absolutely right. But the point I'm getting at is the fact that the very people in my religion are still buying these tickets. Yeah. And I think that's blasphemy. Well, you know, I appreciate your remarks on this, and I think it can be said for a lot of people. If it's against what their religious beliefs are, why follow it? Well, I don't know, but you take like this lottery program. Franklin, Idaho is one of the top sellers of lottery tickets. Yeah. Because it's right on the Utah border. I agree. Keith, I appreciate your... I got to get a... You have to have the laws of the land, and then you have to believe in them until they are proven to not work. And if people would not buy these lottery tickets, we wouldn't have the lottery. There you go. All right. We wouldn't have a lot of things. I guarantee you, Keith, I appreciate it. Thank you, sir. Bye-bye. Good friend right there. Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation. Are you familiar with this place? We had Nick Greenwell at our lunch bunch here about 2 weeks ago. What a nice guy, and so knowledgeable, as is the entire staff at Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation. 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley, right behind Dr. Crane's office. All the sports medicine, all the mix of exercises, hydrotherapy pool with the treadmill in the bottom. Their main goal is to help you get back to being you. Call for an appointment today at 678-1191. That number again, 678-1191. Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation. Absolutely the best. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Deb. I think that you hit it right on the head just a minute ago when you talked about Jesus going into the temple and throwing the money changers out. And then when you look through the history of the Bible and the history of the world, I think people kind of had to do what worked for them at the moment. Daniel was told not to pray, and he didn't go out in the middle of the street and pray, but he went to his room and prayed, and he was caught. And so subsequently thrown into the lion's den, but he didn't deny it when he was thrown into the lion's den. So, and then after, there have been times in history, and including right now, when the Christians have had to go underground and practice quietly and in secret. So I think that it's a matter of you have to do what you have to do under your personal circumstances in order to survive. If all of the Christians that are underground right now came out into the open, they would all be slaughtered, and the Christian faith in those countries would be completely wiped out. So I'm with you, though. I think that, like the last caller talked about having free agency and being able to choose whether or not to participate in what was the law of the land, but some people don't have that choice. They're told, do it this way or do it this way.
Yeah, but wait a minute.
Do it that way and live, do it that way and die. And I think at that point, that's when they have to make a decision.
Right, and let me interrupt you right there because you bring up some really, really good points. Number one, in this country, the greatest country ever in the history of the world, with the greatest Constitution, the greatest Bill of Rights, the greatest freedoms, especially religious freedom. We as Christian people, prominently and predominantly in this country, we are letting the erosion of our faith and our beliefs take place by a secularist society that eventually, and mark my words, I know I'm right, they will do all they can to stop our faith, stop us from practicing our faith, and maybe even making dictates that we can't go to church on Sunday. And my point is, if laws are made by men that are contradictory and basically against God's word, what are we going to do?
You have to follow God's law. If you're given no choice but to do it this way and die, or do it this way and live, but the live part is so abhorrible that you know that you're going to spend eternity wishing you hadn't. There's so many scriptures that say that this is but a short time. Every morning we get our kids up at 6 o'clock, and they're not always happy about it, but they do get up. And we read scriptures every morning. And just the other day we read in 2 Corinthians something about this is just such a short time.
That's right.
And it is such a short time.
That is right.
It seems like hell, and it seems like it's lasting for forever. And when we have a trial, and I've never had a trial like watching one of my children be murdered by some beast who doesn't agree with my belief system, or, something along those lines. I never have, and I pray I never do, because I think I'm too weak as a person. I hope I'm not.
Yeah, but let me just say this. Let me just say this, and I got to do a commercial real quick. If all of us with convictions and religious beliefs would stand up and show the power in our voices, the secularists and those that want to change us would run and hide in the corner.
Isn't that the truth? You've herded cows, and you know that one person could get 100 cows go in one direction and keep them that way, can't you?
That's exactly right.
If 2 of those cows decided to run over you, you would be toast.
Yep. But we're talking about being a doormat. We're talking about being a sponge for what the secular society wants us to change into. And my point is, I am not going to change.
Well, just recently we've heard the phrase, the new normal. This is the new normal.
Yeah.
There's no such thing as a new normal.
That's right.
History has taught us, once again, that when you deviate from God's laws, eventually that society fails. Every time.
I appreciate you.
So there is no such thing as a new normal. Man cannot dictate God's laws.
There you go.
Because it's popular with men doesn't make it popular with God.
Amen.
Vote.
I appreciate your call. I've got to run and do a commercial, and I hate to interrupt you because I enjoyed our conversation, but God bless you, and thank you for your call.
You have a good day.
Thank you so much. Nice lady right there. You know, it was meant to be a provocative question this morning, and I think it was with all the callers in the comments. But think about it, and I'll say it one more time. If you can't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. And if laws are made by men that are contradictory and basically against God's word, what are you going to do? Don't forget our friends at your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers with the free pre-trip safety check. Oh my, they'll give a visual inspection of most of the very important components of your car. Tire pressure check, wheel alignment inspection, visual inspection of your brakes, and the list goes on and on. And along with that, all 7 of the Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers have the best in tires for your kind of driving, whether it's your car, your pickup, your SUV, horse trailers, boat trailers, whatever, the list goes on. They've got them all. So stop in and see Lane and Rupert, and of course Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family in Paul, John on Poline in Twin Falls, and Randy on Overland in Burley. They are the best, and the best in service too. Your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Got to take a break for about 6 minutes, and then when we come back, we got a busy morning. Don't you dare go away. Thanks for listening. Zeb at the Ranch.
Got a call last night from an old friend's wife that I hate.
Oh, yeah, there's the man right there. Thank you very much, Wheels. Good job. Good morning, everybody. Zeb at the Ranch, hour number 2 on a Thursday. And our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you. And service is the key word. Along with some of our great advertisers, Ramsey Heating and Electric at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley, and Valleywide Home and Ranch, 910 South Oneida in Rupert. Everything, and I mean everything, for the farm, the home, and the ranch at Valleywide Home and Ranch. Before we go over to the Chamber of Commerce office, I want to remind you about Hanson Mortuary at 710 6th Street in Rupert. And, of course, Joel Heward and his staff, family, always serving you with the flexible hours to make sure that they are there when you need them. And they will also travel to rural towns and churches to meet with you and help you with the arrangements when there's the passing of a loved one. Always remember the number, 436-5636, as they always treat you with the highest ethical standards with unquestioned integrity. Hanson Mortuary, 710 6th Street in Rupert. Also, real quick, every day on the program we start things off with the weather forecast, and it's sponsored by Cheney Flooring and Home Design, 1228 Oakley Avenue in Burley. Look for the blue door. Kyle and Whitney, wonderful, wonderful people, I'll tell you what. They've got everything, newly refurbished furniture, carpet and flooring, and they do a fantastic job on kitchen construction, whatever you need to make your house a home. And that's at Cheney Flooring and Home Design in Burley. Wonderful people. Well, look who's here. It's the director of the Minnecasia Chamber of Commerce. And good morning to the lovely, vivacious Kay Cameron.
Good morning, Seth Bell.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm enjoying summer already. I love everything to do with summer. I love the sweat. I love the iced tea. I love everything.
I agree. And right now, the Russian olive trees are in bloom, and I think that is my favorite smell ever.
Absolutely. Well, now, along with favorite smells and favorite things to do, tell us about some of those things that are going on over at the Minnecasia Chamber of Commerce.
Well, today is our chamber luncheon, always on the second Thursday of the month, and we're going to be meeting outside in the park by my office. It's going to be such a beautiful day, so we figure that's a great venue to get together. And our presentation today is going to be from Buy Idaho, and learn more about their programs and hopefully encourage more people to buy Idaho and shop local, because that's what really makes our economy strong here in the Minnecaja community. And so it should be very interesting. Also, late this evening, we are partnering up with Idaho Water Sports for Business After Hours. They are sponsoring, and it's going to be also just down the park from my office, and they're going to have all kinds of fun activities, demos with kayaks and paddle boards, and I think it's kind of their grand opening because they're going to be operating a rental service just off of a pontoon boat here in the park. And what a great addition to our community that people local and people traveling, that they want to have an opportunity to maybe go out and paddle or to kayak. They'll now offer rentals right there on the river, and so people can have that opportunity. And so it's going to be a great addition to our community.
You know, that is really a neat deal, because I've been in a lot of towns around the United States when I go on my rodeo tours during the summertime and the fall, and a lot of those towns always provide that. That is a neat addition to Burley, Idaho.
Yes. I think it's something that's needed. We get a lot of inquiries at the office about that. And, it's going to be great. So we look forward to learning more about it and what they're going to be offering and the things you're going to be doing, and to kind of celebrate with them.
Okay. And what else is going on? I mean, here we are, June Dairy Month, and we've got so many things going through the rest of the summer. What else is on the docket?
Well, if you're looking for something for kids to do today is the kickoff for fun. Food Trip Fun in the Park, I think is what it's called, at Storybook Park in Burley. And they have all kinds of activities and different things, and that will be a weekly program every Thursday for a couple of weeks. And learn about healthy things and to keep fit and have fun doing it. And every week they have something planned. And I have not yet looked to see what the program is for today, but I knew that was on the radar for today, so I was sure to tell the babysitter that if she's looking for something to do with my kids, that is certainly an opportunity. There's lots of great things for kids. Get out and enjoy this beautiful weather. Just get out and enjoy the walking trails and go for a bike ride and dig in the dirt. That's what summer's all about.
There you go. Now, I'm sure that you would also like to remind everybody that might be traveling up and down the interstate or coming into Burley right now that, of course, the Minnecaja Chamber of Commerce has a wonderful gift shop.
We do. We have a very nice gift shop, actually. But we also have lots of visitor information if you're looking for things to do. So come by and check it out and see some of our local and Idaho products that we sell and get lots of information loaded up on things to do. We are located at 1177 7th Street in Hayburn on the beautiful Snake River. And I am actually out by the river this morning, and I'll tell you what, it is so beautiful out here. So get out and enjoy it. And if you have questions, give us a call. We are located, our phone number is 208-679-4793. Find us online at minnekajachamber.com. Find us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Absolutely excellent. I am envious that you're down by that beautiful Snake River right now. Kay, God bless. Have a wonderful week.
Yes, you too.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All righty. Minnecaja Chamber of Commerce. A wonderful lady right there, Kay Cameron. Thank you very much. Hey, we're going to have Mark Moyle on the program in just a moment, talking about the Idaho Regatta. Stand by for that. And don't forget, Father's Day is right around the corner. Absolutely. And the goodie basket at 133 West Main in Burley, and the telephone number 647-0106. Shelley and the girls can make up a basket for your dad, your hubby, and and bring in all the goodies. Absolutely. They can deliver sandwiches and salads to the business place of work and deliveries in the Mini-Cassia area, the goodie basket. For Daddy's Day, don't forget to give them a call, along with Magic Valley Irrigation. And they say a big salute to Father's Day, and they're located at 44 East, 500 South of Burley, 678-3101. Jeff and the whole crew wish all the dads happy Dad's Day, and don't forget, for all your irrigation needs, it's Magic Valley Irrigation at 44 East, 500 South of Burley. Wonderful, wonderful people right there. We're going to go to the phone line right now and say good morning to Mark Moyle. Mark, how are you, old boy? Good to have you on the air.
Good morning, Zeb. Thanks for having me. And I have to agree, Kate Cameron is a lovely lady. I went to school with her at Declo, and she's a very wonderful woman.
Well, now that was just, 2 years ago?
Yeah, I graduated in 90, and I believe Kate graduated in 91 and 92.
Okay. Mark, there's a big event coming up again. It'll be the, 40th? Am I right on that? Anniversary of the Idaho Regatta?
That's the 40th annual Maverick Idaho Regatta, and we are so excited to have this anniversary, and we're really excited to have Maverick Country Stores on board this year.
Okay. And give us kind of a synopsis of the dates and the locations and the times, and give us the whole picture, would you?
Okay. Well, first of all, the dates are June 26th, 27th, and 28th. The Fridays, the 26th, is we'll start testing at approximately 11 a.m. after the parade. There will be a parade from 10 a.m. At 10 a.m. We'll start at the Smith parking lot, and then our parade route will go down 16th Street, and then on to Overland and Main, and then back to the race site.
Okay.
And then from there, we'll test all day until right around 4 o'clock, and then we'll start some heat races on Friday evening, and we'll conclude Friday evening's event with the Grand Prix shootout, where we'll take the 3 fastest boats from each class, put them together, and let them run for prize money. I believe they have $3,000 lined up for that race.
Now, Mark, let me ask you a question there on these. What is it, the Flat Bottom Grand Prix Shootout? Is that what it's called?
Yes, sir. That is correct. They're 18-foot flat-bottom boats, and these are all V-drive top-driven boats.
Okay.
There's the Super Stocks are eligible, the Pro Stocks, and the K-boats. The Super Stocks run a single carbureted 427 cubic inch big block Chevrolet that is what it says, Super Stock. They have certain rules they have to run by, and they get a little bit of a head start because they're not as fast as the Pro Stocks. Now, the Pro Stocks are 500 cubic inch alcohol-injected, naturally aspirated engines, and they're capable of speeds of 130 miles an hour.
Oh, my.
About 120.
Oh, my goodness. Now, let me ask you.
The Granddaddies, the K-Racing runabouts, they start last in the handicap because they have up to 2,000 horsepower blown alcohol engines, and they're capable of speeds in excess of 150 miles an hour.
150 miles an hour. Now, Mark, explain to me and my audience, how long is the course? I mean, what kind of a course is it, mileage-wise, or what is it?
It's a 1.25 mile circle course, and we run 4 laps for a 5-mile heat race.
I see. And you're hitting speeds, you said, of up to 150 miles an hour?
Yes, sir. In fact, the world's fastest K-boat's going to be here. It's driven by Dave Rankin out of Hacienda Heights, California, and they set the Straightaway record in Lincoln City, Oregon at 153 miles an hour.
Oh, my.
It's with the program.
Mark, what's it like, honestly, and I know you've been behind the wheel of these boats, but what's it like to go on the water at that kind of speed?
Needless to say, it's pretty exciting. I've always been kind of a motorhead, and I love racing. And for me, it's very, very exciting. I just enjoy driving the boat, but it's also you have to be on top of your game. It's extremely dangerous, and the way I explain it, I feel more alive in a 3-minute heat race in one of those boats than most people probably feel in their whole life. It's really an experience.
Well, now, let me ask you this part of the question. Here you are on the water racing with other boats. What about the control factor? Do you have control over those boats, especially when they're off the water at that speed?
Well, that's the name of the game, is to try and have the right setup so that your boat will handle well, especially in rough water, because every lap it gets rougher and rougher and rougher.
Yeah.
And attrition plays a big part in this, because you have to, in order to finish first you must finish. And so, we work very hard on making our boats handle well, but that's even so, they get out of control. It's very rough, and you know how it is when guys get competitive. Sometimes sometimes they don't always think with the like they should be. Sometimes they get a little carried away.
Mark, I would imagine, here, I've never raced any boats, but I have raced stock cars. But now, when you're talking about stock cars, you're on a solid surface, and I know you got the slipping and the sliding and everything, but water would appear to me to be a lot tougher to keep the control of the vehicle, is it not?
It absolutely is. There's a lot of factors that go in. Like we run cavitation plates on our boat, which are similar to flaps on an airplane. And what that does is when you push a pedal, it puts the plates down, so it'll help hold the nose down. But when you put the nose down, it scrubs speed. So it's a matter of driving by the seat of your pants, pretty much.
Okay. And what about safety factors on these boats? I mean, you know about these boats. You've driven these boats. What happens if all of a sudden there is maybe an end-over-end? Are these boats built with the same kind of a safety factor that maybe an IndyCar or NASCAR would be built?
Yes. The classes like the K-Racing runabouts that run over 130 miles an hour on a regular basis, they're required to run an F-16 fighter capsule with a full cage. They're strapped in, and they're inside this capsule, and they're breathing compressed air, and that's so they can withstand a hard impact during a crash. Now, some of the slower classes, we run open cockpit, but we have to wear special ballistic racing life jackets, helmets, neck restraints. Broken necks is probably the biggest factor. Biggest injury that we see in our sport.
Oh, my. Well, now, Mark, I'm almost out of time, and I want to quickly get through Saturday and then also Sunday. So tell us real fast the rest of the weekend.
You bet. Saturday and Sunday, we have 2 full days of racing that start at 11 a.m. It's a great show. Please come on down and support us for our 40th annual. And I'd also like to thank the Mini Cassia area for backing us for 40 years. It's a great event. Boy,
you did a fantastic job here this morning. I appreciate it. Now, are you going to be racing at this regatta?
I am. I took last year off just because of just business factors, but I will be racing this year. So we hope to see everybody down there.
All right. Well, I personally am going to come by and watch and make sure that I can cheer you on. I appreciate the effort this morning. The 40th anniversary of the Maverick Idaho Regatta. Mark, thanks so much for being on the program this morning.
Thanks for having me, Zeb.
All right, take care. Thank you. Wow, that sounds like fun. That does sound like fun, but I'm not so sure about going 150 miles an hour on the water. Woo, wait a minute, I got to think about that one for a while. Hey, don't forget Let's Ride. Highway 24 between Rupert and Heyburn. Yep, this is where the fun is sold. Now, they've got all the watercraft, too. They got the fun in the watercraft. Lots of brand new watercraft, so if you want to head to the lakes or the rivers, whatever, they've got everything you need right there at Let's Ride. And all the 4x4s, the four-wheel drives, you better believe it. The ATVs ready to get out and enjoy all the fun outside this summer. And don't forget the Great Big Poker Run. They're going to sponsor this weekend on Saturday. Meeting at the Cottonwood Trailhead at 10 o'clock in the morning, and then going up to Father and Son Campground and having a lunch. All of this sponsored by Let's Ride. Going to be a lot of fun. Stop in and see them today, 270 Highway 24 between Rupert and Heyburn, or give them a call at 436-4771. Let's Ride, where the fun is sold. While you're over in that area, I want to remind you that maybe you should take the time to find out about your life insurance, your health insurance, if you have a business, of course, your retirement planning, your employee benefits. All of this can be found out, and you can get answers at Cameron and Siemens Insurance, Highway 24 in Rupert. Now, Dean Cameron and Todd Siemens always, every day, get up out of bed and say, we're going to serve somebody. You better believe it. They serve the people. 436-4424, the number to call for an appointment. Cameron and Siemens Insurance, Highway 24 in Rupert. Again, that number to call, 436-4424. Really, really good folks. Let's see, what else have I got cooking here? Oh, I want to remind you, too, quickly about Lennox. Don't forget, Ramsey Heating and Electric and Lennox team up and offer rebates on qualified Lennox home comfort systems. Gas furnaces, air conditioners, heat pumps. You and your family will enjoy the comfort with warm winters and cool summers from Ramsey Heating and Electric and Lennox. Well, where in the world, where'd all these dogs come from anyway? They're all over the place. Holy mackerel. Where's Ken Mort when you need him with the nets and everything else? Doggone it, Minidoka Animal Control. Good morning, Ken. How are you?
Good morning, Zeb. I'm doing great. How about yourself?
What are you doing so far this summer?
Actually, I have been busy.
Now, don't lie to me.
Well, actually, I'm following in your footsteps a little bit this summer.
What's that?
I'm coaching my son's baseball team.
There is no future in that, my friend. No, that's great.
It was kind of a volunteer type thing and stuff, and that they couldn't find enough coaches, so I got a phone call because I sponsored the team, and they're like, they need a coach.
You know,
coach it, and I said, well, if you need me to, so.
Isn't it amazing, though, Ken, that we've known each other for a long time, and I was your baseball coach. I'm trying to think what grade you were in then. What was that, about 6th, 7th grade?
It was something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been a while ago.
Well, yeah, I didn't have the gray hair, and I wasn't as long in the tooth. But now here you are, Minidoka Animal Control, and you are the man. What's going on with all the puppy dogs?
Well, I shouldn't say unfortunately. It's a good thing and stuff. We don't have anything to feature this week.
Really?
We've been actually, what we've been finding or picking up on that, the owners have been either coming forward and claiming, or we've been able to find homes for on that fairly quick. Matter of fact, what I've got left in my facility, which I've only got 9 dogs in there right now, are all scheduled to be leaving this weekend.
Oh, my goodness. So what are you going to do, sit there and play solitaire?
Oh, no. I'll still be out there and stuff and that, finding people and that dogs that are getting loose. It's that time of year where it seems like the weather warms up and the dogs want to go on walkabouts. Without their owners.
Now, let's talk a little bit about that, though, because it does bring up a subject. You know, a lot of people are out walking their dogs, and I've often asked myself this question. If I don't want to walk across the pavement in the hot summer heat without shoes, why should I ask my dog to?
True. I mean, if people that are really concerned about that, and which everybody should be. I mean, if it's too hot for your feet, it's probably too hot for theirs. I mean, their pads are a little bit stiffer and everything and stuff and that, and can withstand a little bit more heat, but they still can burden their pads. They actually, a lot of the pet stores, and that will sell booties on that for you to be able to put on your dog's feet.
Right.
Matter of fact, I know a lady that went and got some because their dog likes to. They use their dog for a lot of hunting.
Yeah.
Well, they wanted to protect its feet while they were out doing their bird hunting and everything, and keep it from getting the sheet grass and stuff like that in its paws. So they went and got booties for it and got the dog used to the booties, and now it wears booties everywhere it goes.
You know, one other thing I wanted to ask you about, and we got about 3 minutes left here this morning, is that one of my pet peeves from when I was a little boy back in Wisconsin to seeing this happen at various events as an adult, people will go to the city park with their dogs and they'll turn them loose, and there's people out there with their babies and strollers, and people are trying to enjoy a picnic, and there might be a company having ice cream and everything, and the dog's running all over. Hey, come on, keep control of your dogs, right?
Yes, I mean, it is a state law and stuff and that all dogs and stuff and that need to be contained either by a leash if you're out with them. The only places that they will waive that is if it's an actual dog park that is fenced in, that is designed and that for you to allow your dog to run freely.
Yeah.
And that those are the only places. I mean, you can, if you're in a public park and that is not fenced in, it's not considered a dog park, and you turn your dog loose, you can actually be issued a citation for dog at large.
You remember those ice cream cylinders? They stood maybe about 2.5, 3 feet tall, and they were in the canvas bags, Ken, and we used to take those to picnics to dish up the ice cream. Remember those?
Oh, yeah.
I remember my 8th grade summer party, and all the parents and everything were there. We were playing softball, and they looked over by the picnic tables, and there was somebody's black Labrador with his head and his shoulders stuck into that tube eating ice cream to beat the band.
Trying to cool off.
Yeah, right. Anyhow, take care of your puppy dogs, and don't let them be a burden on somebody else, right?
Exactly. Also, Annette, I was wanting to get out there. I've had a report of some the dogs have been coming up missing, and quite a few around the Magic Valley area. And when doing a little bit of investigating and stuff, and that, I mean, we don't know who's doing it, but we found that people are taking some dogs and then turning around and marking them marking one of them with a blue spot on its head.
Oh my!
And then they are actually hunting these dogs for game.
Oh, you got to be kidding me!
And we can't get proof of it yet, but I mean, I'm hearing a lot about this, and I've been told and stuff that it's happened over in Gooding County, it's happened over in Twin Falls County.
Oh, for heaven's sake!
Matter of fact, somebody had posted a picture of a dog and stuff that they had found that actually had a blue mark over here in Cassia County. Annette, so make sure you guys are taking extra care and keeping a good close eye on your dogs, Annette, so that somebody's not just taking them.
There is a case right there where I hope the dog, if they're trying to be abducted, turns around and takes a good pound of flesh out of every one of those people.
Exactly. I agree with that as well. And then one final note, Annette, I am currently working with Modern Woodman on that group that are going to do a matching funds on that thing for me. We're still trying to raise the money for the kennels that we need. I am doing the week of the 4th of July, and that I will be over by the Wilson Theater in the grass area over there. Not sure of exactly what times, but I will be selling raffle tickets and that for items that I am getting donated on that for a raffle, plus I will be having auction stuff. And then on the 4th of July, following the parade later that afternoon, I will be drawing the names of the winners of the raffle items.
Okay.
And as of right now and stuff, I've had, matter of fact, Valley White donated me a painting of pheasants, and that is valued at about $117.
Wow.
I've got several businesses in that are going to come up with items for me. Anybody else that's got some items that they might be willing to donate, like gift baskets or anything like that I could throw in for the silent auction, that would be greatly appreciated, and they can contact me at 670-7268.
I'm running late. God bless you, man. Ken Mort, Minidoka Animal Control. Where'd all these dogs come from? All right, Ken Mort, old friend of ours with Minidoka Animal Control. Thank you so much. Hey, this is June Dairy Month. Enjoy ice cream, milk, and cheese. Oh, my goodness. And next week, we're going to give away some more blizzards to Dairy Queen at 2200 Overland and Burley and 5055 Lincoln and Jerome. And they've got an all-new Jurassic Smash Blizzard with smashed up peanut butter cookies and cookie dough. It's delicious. Oh, my goodness. You're going to love it at Dairy Queen in Burley and Jerome. And along with the Golden Valley Warehouse at 468 West, 1000 South of Burley, Royal and the rest of the crew wish you a very happy summertime and a salute to June Dairy Month. Don't forget Golden Valley Warehouse, where they also custom clean your own seed. You get a hold of the best. Golden Valley Warehouse, south of Burley, wishing you and yours a great summertime June Dairy Month. Right now, let's go to the phone lines, and with us is a lovely lady that I just really appreciate every week on the program. Hello, Rita Ramsey. How are you?
Hello, I'm real good. How are you doing?
Not too bad. Rita, I wanted to start something off this morning with you on a subject that started on Monday, and it's gone through almost every day on my program with comments, and I wrote about it in this next week's blog called Cow Pies and Coffee Cups, and I am taking some heat from those that didn't want to come on the air and voice their opinion, but on the air, everybody has agreed with me that the school summer lunch program is absolutely ridiculous to take responsibility away from parents and put more people dependent on government. What are your thoughts?
I totally agree with you, and the reason is because when I was growing up and when my kids were growing up, there was no school summer lunch program, and I never heard of one kid starving to death.
That's right. That's right. But with no income restrictions, and that's what the articles have all said, oh, come one, come all. And all it is just teaching people that no responsibility. I don't have to feed my kids. Johnny and Susie can go to the park. Oh, and when I pick them up, we'll drive over in our brand new Escalade and we'll get our free cheese, too. I am sick of this attitude.
Well, the part that makes me mad, and you'll find out if you were to actually talk to someone who is maybe being the administrative official over this, is, well, the money's free, we kind of have to take it.
Yeah.
Or da-da-da. And it's like, do you not understand that you're wasting taxpayer money? And this is the part that really bothers me about the whole thing, is when our administrators, and it doesn't matter whether it's through the schools or through the state or through the governor or whoever it is, when they were sworn into office, they swore that they would be good stewards of the taxpayer money and do the things that protected the taxpayer, kept them safe, and in many and most cases, they also say that they will uphold the Constitution. And they aren't doing any of that. It's kind of like, well, let's just pull in as much money as we can and everybody will be fine. Well, that's what it's all about, is the money, and that's why we're in trouble with this deal with the refugees, is because it's all about money.
Well, and the other day,
every time you turn, it's a money deal.
The other day, I said on my program, and I'm going to stand behind this, you cannot justify a no-income restriction. That is absolutely asinine, because you're just basically saying, come one, come all, feed at the government pig trough, and get your fill. Nobody has to pay a thing. You know what? I'd rather have a large percentage of that money go right back into the local senior citizens and help them with the Meals on Wheels, rather than feed a bunch of pork-hungry people that aren't taking the responsibility to feed their own kids in the city park.
Well, their big thing is, well, how is little Johnny, when he shows up, going to show how much money his parents make or whatever? It means they're going to have to do more paperwork. They just need to cease it. There are some kids, and it goes during the school thing too, there are probably a few kids out there that really need some help. And I say to that, it's the teacher's responsibility to get to know the child enough to know whether or not when that child gets home at night, there's not a thing on the shelf because they have a druggy parent or something like that that's using every bit of the family money for drugs instead of food. And maybe get those people some help or something like that. But when you have a freebie thing, you have everybody in town that will line up and come and get it, whether they need it or not, and it's just a waste of our money.
Well, it's not only a waste of the money, Rita. You know as well as I do, and your kids are grown, my kids are grown, but what are we teaching these kids? We're teaching them lack of responsibility, and we're teaching them government dependency, and that, to me, is the scariest part of the whole equation.
Well, that's exactly right, and that's where we come right back to the Constitution. Is the Constitution says that the federal government shouldn't be doing anything that the states can do, and they're telling the states they have to do this, and then the states are telling the districts they have to do it, and it all comes back to the federal government saying, you shall do this. And it's wrong. It's just making slaves out of them. It's making them dependent. And it's as if there weren't enough people that were already dependent.
Yeah, and all I see is an attitude of lack of responsibility for the parents. My mom and my dad both worked. My mother put in a lot of hours, summertime, fall, winter, spring, but none of us ever went hungry. None of us had to go on the dole. None of us were not ever left to run amok. We were always looked after by someone, and I'm sick and tired of this relaxing of parental responsibility.
Well, you're right. I remember when I was growing up, my dad was actually a house mover, and you can't move houses in Idaho about 6 months of the year, and so there were a lot of winters that it was pretty lean at our house. But we never went without food, even if it was me and my sisters babysitting and bringing home enough money to buy some of the basic things. But we always put up things in the fall so that we could get through the winter, and we never went without, and we never had free stuff. And if we could do it then, people can do it now, and it just makes you a better person and more cognizant of the things that you need to do to take care of yourself.
Absolutely. I'm going to throw a number at you, and I know you've heard this number, and it's another topic this morning. 450. 450 armed United States troops are going to be dropped into Iraq as advisors and teachers, as if 450 was going to settle the problem with hundreds of thousands of ISIS members. What kind of idiocy is this?
It's just to say we're doing something, because if they were really doing what the generals wanted them to do, they would be running those sorties and those bomb attacks just one after the other and bomb the crap out of ISIS and be done with it. We would have been done with this if they would have actually done that early on. They didn't decide to do it, and now because there's a little bit of pressure, it's like, okay, we'll send some people over there to kind of advise them and tell them what to do, but they've got to be doing it too. Well, you know what? We either need to do something or get the heck out of there. And it's a thing where, really, for our national security, we need to get rid of ISIS, and we should be doing it. But he won't do it because I think they're his friends, or I don't know what.
You know, Rita, it's not even a Band-Aid. Nobody's going to convince me, and I've talked to a lot of military people over the last 48 hours, honestly, in Texas, in Georgia, and New York, and these people that were colonels and generals are wrinkling their brow and saying, what kind of lunacy is this? 450 teachers and advisors, and I wonder what the limitations are.
Well, that's just it. There are so many limitations that the limitations don't permit us to go in there and get rid of them and get out.
Yeah. I just see this as nothing more than a kind of a Band-Aid, if you will, to make Obama possibly look good with his liberal friends. But this is lunacy, thinking that they're going to stop or curb a problem with 450 troops.
Yeah, it's just a joke. And it's just so that people will quit complaining about it and saying, you know, nothing's happening, we're not doing anything. It's like, okay, we're doing something. Didn't you see that we sent some guys over there?
You know, I wanted to ask you a little bit before I do the break for the weather forecast, but this deal in McKinney, Texas, there's two sides to this story, as you're well aware, and a black woman, I don't know if you saw her on television this morning, but there was a YouTube video of this black woman that lives right there in the area, and she said the policeman in McKinney was trying to restore order, but the black kids kept trying to run away, kept mouthing off against the police, and would not shut up. And she said that blacks actually enhanced the problem, and this woman, again, is a black mother of kids in that area.
Well, it all boils down to one thing. First of all, we didn't see on the TV or on any of the videos what really happened, so we shouldn't have been there. But I thought it was quite interesting what Mark Furman said on, I think it was on Hannity last night. At the very end, after having a very heated discussion with the other guy that was on there, he said what it all boils down to is the media has caused a policeman to lose his career.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah. I agree with that. I agree with that. But then you've also got your black agitators like this Reverend Ronnie Wright the other day saying, well, it's not ISIS we're afraid of, it's USIS. It's USIS against the police, and trying to blow the embers hot again and create a bigger fire. Why? Why do they do this?
It's just the media's way of enhancing somebody who is just a real, I think he's just kind of an idiot myself. It's just a way to stir the pot and get things moving so that there'll be some kind of problems. And I think this pretty much stems back to the White House, how they have stirred the pot and tried to get things moving, just like they did in Ferguson, they did it in Baltimore, they're trying to do it here. They'll do it any place that they can. And these kids and people who are buying into it are just like Hitler called them, useful idiots, because what they're doing is they're helping move an agenda along so that there can be a lot of unrest and maybe, stuff like that, when it happens, people start getting hurt, there starts being deaths, there's all kinds of things. And I think this is what they want to happen. I really do. And I think it starts at the Department of Justice and Obama saying, hey, let's do whatever we can push forward and do. And nobody will convince me that lady in Baltimore, I forgot her name all of a sudden right now, Mosley, that she wasn't actually kind of directed via the White House, and it might have been through Valerie Jarrett, but she's had edicts come from the White House to stir up the pot there.
But let's lay it all on the table, though. For what purpose and what end result? I think you and I both agree. I think you and I have talked about this in programs past, but the net result that they're looking for.
Well, I think they want to nationalize the police department.
I agree.
I mean, I agree. Nobody will convince me otherwise.
And the sincerity of trying to curb the problem is lacking, because I don't know about you, but I haven't yet seen Obama asked to get on the newscast, whether it's Fox, whether it's CNN, whether it's ABC, and try to quell the problem and diminish the problem. Maybe I've missed something, but I think our president has absolutely dropped the ball.
Well, he has, and you and I both know that if he got on camera and started saying, now listen, this needs to stop and we need to have this come to an end, instead of jumping into it and saying how terrible the police are, and boy, that was just a poor little kid, he looked like he could have been my son, and on that he does. He's just stirring the pot, and then that gives the Department of Justice reason to go into those police departments. Say, we're going to do an audit. We're going to come in and just check everything out and make sure everything's going, the way it's supposed to. And by then they've got people that have infiltrated, and it's like, no, we better take off and start managing this on our own, because you obviously don't know how to.
When I come back from the weather forecast, I want to talk to you about a story that involves three major items: a veteran, hot coffee, and the United States flag, so stay tuned. Right now, it's time for the weather, brought to everybody by Duck Uglies at 163 West Highway 30 in Burley. Oh, my goodness. You want to have a fun time this weekend? You want to have great dining this weekend? Oh, go to Duck Uglies Friday and Saturday for delicious smoked ribs, along with all the other great menu choices. But, Omar and his ribs, they are really, really good. Delicious meals, great entertainment. And if you didn't know it, Duck Uglies serves breakfast, too, Monday through Friday with their great breakfast burritos. All of this and more at Duck Uglies, 163 West Highway 30 in Burley. You stop in and see them today. Right now, here is the weather.
Here's your weather forecast for Zeb at the Ranch. It is going to be a nice day today, slightly breezy. Winds out of the northwest right around 9 miles an hour. Some clouds in the area, but not too bad. High of 83. Tonight, expect a low near 56. Now for tomorrow, the winds are going to be picking up out of the west right around 20 miles an hour, but it's going to be nice and sunny. High of 84 with an overnight low of 50. That's going to continue through Saturday. Still going to be a little bit on the windy side. Out of the west, right around 13 miles an hour. Sunny skies. High of 83 with an overnight low of 50 for Sunday. Sunny skies. High of 84. And as we go back to work on Monday, looks like mostly sunny skies. High of 90. That's your weather forecast for Zeb at the Ranch.
Thank you very, very much. And, of course, brought to you by Duck Ugly, 163 West Highway 30 in Burley. Great entertainment and delicious eating. Rita, did you hear about the veteran that was standing on the street corner, and all of a sudden these absolute clowns were walking down the street, and they on their legs had an American flag tied to their feet, and they were dragging the American flag, and this veteran had enough. He said, I fought for this country. I watched people die in my arms, and I'm not about to stand here and let some absolute jerk destroy my America and my American flag. And he went over and he got into an altercation with them, threw hot coffee on him. They sued him and they locked the veteran up. Where is the justice, Rita?
I don't know. Is this the one that was the Westboro Baptist?
Yep, it sure is. Yes, ma'am.
This is my take on it. If a police if the police in Baltimore or some of those other towns can kind of lay low and not do anything to make a statement, why did this police officer even pay attention to him? He should have turned and walked away like he didn't see it and just leave it alone.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, I am fed up with thinking that we can't protect our flag. I am fed up with... You know what, Rita? And mark my words, this is true. If some clown looking for a circus acted like that at a rodeo, I'll guarantee you there would be about 10 bulldoggers that would give him a real distinct personality adjustment.
Well, that's what needs to happen, is people need to start standing up for it, and it just really irritates me that there was a policeman right there, and all of a sudden he's going to come and get the guy who spilled his coffee on somebody intentionally. I mean, for heaven's sake.
But you know, the pride in America and the PC, the political correctness, and this is another topic I want to talk to you about. It's becoming more serious every day. Everything I say, every story that I put on the air is being monitored, and these little worms out there in the audience are saying, well, you're not right, you can't do that, you hurt my feelings, that's not politically correct. Rita, we have got to stand up, and our freedom of speech is being really endangered right now.
Well, it is, and do you know why? It's because people won't stand up and say, I'm not going to put up with this anymore. If people start standing up and saying they're not going to put up with this anymore, all of a sudden, those who are wielding the sword get a little bit nervous and go, well, maybe I better just kind of step back and let things go. It's just terrible that people will not stand up and show, I'm not going to put up with this, because when they do, usually those others, who isn't a very big force, will back down.
Are you becoming cognizant in your everyday dealings and speech with people that, oh, I better not say that, I might offend somebody? I have given up. I am not even going to try to censor myself and my speech, my jokes, or anything else. I am not going to go down that politically correct road. I'm going to be me. I'm going to exercise my rights as a citizen of America with freedom of speech, and I really don't care whose feelings I hurt. Do you?
Well, I've come to the point where I want to be respectful, and I want to not, offend somebody by saying something really, really brash.
Oh, yeah, I agree with that. Absolutely.
Bad,
sure.
I am not going to sit back and let them shut me up.
Well, but that's the problem. There are very few of us left. And if somebody says something or does something that somebody is offended by, right off the bat, they wield this, well, we're going to take you to court, we're going to sue you, you offended us, political correctness, certain words they don't want said anymore. And like Jerry Seinfeld said, he won't even go to college, universities, or campuses anymore to put on a comedic routine, because anything and everything he says, somebody's going to jump up and say, you can't say that. That's not politically correct. This is insane.
Well, it really is, and what it all boils down to is there's numbers of groups of us that believe one thing or the other, and when it comes down to it, we all pretty much believe the same thing, and we've got to start linking our arms with those other groups of people who believe the same way we do, even though they might not be. Maybe it's the Tea Party and the something else, or the something else and something else, but we've got to all link our arms and say, you know what? We all believe that we need to be doing this, and we're going to support each other, and we're not going to let the minority kick us out and beat us up and be in charge here.
Oh, by the way, real quick note, you heard that Kansas has a new welfare recipient law that is going to start stipulating what a person can or cannot spend their welfare money on. Some of the items are no tattoos, no horse racing, no cruises, no going to strip clubs, and the liberals are standing up and saying, oh, that's too harsh.
Well, it just shows how out of control it is, because those folks who are receiving those benefits should be made to use those for food and shelter and maybe their utilities, but not to be able to take money out and go and spend it wherever they want, because it's there for them.
Absolutely.
They're just abusing it.
Real quick, what's going on with the Tea Party?
Well, tonight is our meeting at 7 o'clock at the City Hall. We've got a number of things we're going to go through. We're going to have a report on the Idaho Republican Party, which had a meeting over the weekend. It was their summer meeting, and some of the resolutions and so forth. We're also going to be talking about the refugee thing. I went to a meeting last week, and I learned a lot of information about the refugee situation down in Twin Falls. And then we're going to be talking about the American Lands Council. They have come under fire with some special groups that are trying to shut them down, and they've just formed, and they actually are part of the lobbyist groups out of Washington now trying to shut down the American Lands Council so that we can't get our lands back.
Rita, I would really appreciate it if you and I could compare notes on some of this refugee issue. As you know, I'm very outspoken against it, and I'd like at a time off the air you and I can get together and discuss this. We have a quick call, and caller, do not go more than 30 seconds. I've got to wrap this up. Go, you're on the air.
I just like what they're doing in Florida. They're making them drug tests in order to be on welfare.
Absolutely. Great comment. Rita, what about the drug testing? I've said for a long time that should have been across the board 50 states.
Well, I think it should. You have to have a drug test to get a job. You have to have a drug test to keep a CDL for drive. You know, if you're going to keep that license so that you can drive, you have to have drug tests if you work in many, many different places and stuff like that. I don't know why you shouldn't have to comply if you're going to be on the civic, the dole of the people.
Amen. Rita Ramsey, I really enjoy Thursdays and having you on the program. Thank you so much. God's blessings, and we'll talk to you next week.
Okay, real good. Thanks, Ab.
All righty, take care. Nice lady right there, Rita Ramsey, and she is not afraid to tell you exactly like it is. You know what? I am so hungry. I mean, I've been really cutting back on my groceries. I have. And I'm hungry. And about this time of the morning, yep, you know what's coming. I get really hungry, and I'm starving to death. Okay, I'm going to give you some great places to go. How about Taco Bandito, 2301 Overland in Burley? Listen to this. They've got the breakfast burritos over there, and they've got the brand new horchata. I think I said that right. It's a drink made with milk, water, rice, cinnamon, sugar, and different spices. Woo-hoo-hoo! Sounds good to me. And they've got that new lime ranch dressing, too, that's really, really good. All of this and more over at Taco Bandito, 2301 Overland in Burley. Let's move on over to Steve-O's, 290 South, 600 west of Hayburn. Food made the way you like it. Oh, my goodness. Don't forget the patio is open. And on good weather, you're going to be sitting out there listening to music. Oh, on Friday and Saturday nights, it's so nice. Along with the great menu items, too. And Steve-O's nacho fries. I love them. Topped with cheese and jalapeno peppers. And all the great food at Steve-O's. Don't forget to stop in and see them this week. Let's move over to Burgers, etc. 124 South Oneida and Rupert and 700 North Overland and Burley. Root beer floats, only 99 cents after 3 p.m. until the end of August. Holy cow, 99 cents? Are you kidding me? I'll take a dozen of them. And all the delicious burgers and cheeseburgers and tater tots and onion rings, everything, and fresh strawberries milkshakes too. All of this and more at Burgers, etc. in Rupert and Burley. Oh, and the AC Drive-In at 601 East Main in Burley. I'm drooling all over my microphone right now. Chicken fried steak sandwich. Oh, so delicious. Along with the ranch burgers and the famous Farmer Brown burgers. And all the fries and the special sauce and all the delicious milkshakes. It's delicious. The AC Drive-In at 601 East Main in Burley. And those are just a few great places to go when you're hungry and starving to death. Absolutely. Okay, coming up next hour, we've got Cassia County School Days, and I believe our guest this morning is going to be Troy Bird, ag teacher from Oakley High School. And then we're going to be talking to old Zach over at Minnecasia Sales. And then, of course, at 10:32, Vicky's Country Garden. We got a whole bunch of things left to go. You stay tuned. Zeb at the Ranch, I'll be back in about 6 minutes. Oh, there we go. Kind of an interesting chain of events. Good morning, hour number 3, Zeb at the Ranch. I wasn't sure where to jump in the puddle right there. Anyway, good morning to you, and thanks for being here on hour number 3, Zeb at the Ranch, brought to you by our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you. And, of course, some of our great advertisers, Ramsey Heating and Electric at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley, and, of course, don't forget Valley Wide Home and Ranch. 10% discount off for all the 4-H'ers on what they need at 910 South Oneida in Rupert. Everything for the farm, the home, and the ranch. Hey, by the way, right now I got to tell you, the Chadwick Sports Grill. Good eating. Special today. This sounds so delicious. Individual stuffed meatloaf topped with melted cheese, served with choice of side, veggies, and super salad. Wow, does that sound good? I love that stuffed meatloaf at the Chadwick Sports Grill, 139 West Main in Burley, along with all the other great menu choices, the food, the environment, great at the Chadwick Sports Grill in Burley. You're going to love it. This is June Dairy Month, and we want to say a big thank you to our dairymen for all they do, and of course the United Dairymen of Idaho, and some of our sponsors of June Dairy Month, including Smith's Food and Drug at 937 East Main in Burley, and they've got some great specials for you for the month of June. Ice Pick Popsicles, just $1.79. Yoplait Yogurt, 39 cents. And Mountain Dairy Gallon Milk, just 2 for $4. Holy cow, you better check it out at Smith's. Let me say the name again. Smith's Food and Drug at 937 East Main in Burley, along with AMI at 710 Overland in Burley. You need a fastener? They've got all your fasteners. Locally owned with all the bolts, the nuts, and the hardware. AMI has it all. And they both wish you a very happy and fun-filled June Dairy Month. There you go. Now, in just a moment, we're going to have our next guest on the air with us, and it's for the segment called Cassia County School Days, and we are very, very fortunate to have 2 wonderful sponsors of the program, Ambulatory Surgery Center at 1344 Highland in Burley. And before you have any surgery taken care of, be sure and give them a call and see if they can't save you a lot of money. 677-8888. That number again, 677-8888. Colonoscopies, hand surgeries, carpal tunnel problems, Ambulatory Surgery Center at 1344 Highland in Burley, along with A Child's World at 1308 Overland in Burley. My goodness, all the fun water toys over there, and they've got a lot of the games, like if you're going to go on vacation, keep the kids busy in the back seat so they're not hitting each other over the head and everything. They've got all kinds of games for road trips right there at A Child's World, 1308 Overland in Burley. You stop in and see those good folks today. Right now, excuse me, a little frog in my throat. Hay fever season has emerged. We're going to go to the phone line and talk to the Oakley ag teacher, and his name is Troy Bird. Troy, if I'm not mistaken, you've been on the program with me in the past, have you not?
Yes, I have.
Well, how are you anyway?
We're doing fantastic.
All right. Well, everybody...
Any better than I'd be twins, then.
Lord help us all. Thank you very much. Troy, you just got back, I understand, from taking some of your students at Oakley High School to Northern Idaho for the state FFA judging competition. Give us a little background on what they did up there and what they learned.
Well, Zeb, I took a few teams up with us. We took 9 students total. And we competed in a meats judging competition, a welding competition, and in a livestock judging competition. In total, there were probably about 15 competitions that we could have participated in, but we only chose to participate in the 3. I had some kids do a really good job. We didn't place in the top 10 in most of our things, but every kid that I took learned something, and that's what that whole program is about, is learning how to develop your interest in high school into a potential career path.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about that, Troy, because I am a strong advocate of agriculture and especially FFA, 4-H, etc. People might say, well, yeah, but you spent all that money to go up there, and really, what did they learn? What did they learn, and how can it be applied later on in life?
Well, there's a lot of things that they learned. I think the biggest thing that they learned is if an interest that they have now is something that's employable in the future. I think that's the most important thing that you can do as a high school student. People talk about the amount of money that might go into programs, the amount of money we spend to do these things, but I know that I've experimented with a lot of different things outside of high school that cost me a lot more money than they would have if I would have experimented more in high school and realized more of my career path while I was there. I think that our kids learned how to present themselves in a competition setting, which will help them as they interview for jobs and try to obtain employment. Another thing that they learned is our meats team, for example, they got to see meat grading, they got to see meat identification, they got to see quality standards, they got to see a large-scale facility that they won't see down in Oakley. I mean, we've got a small butcher down there, but we got to go to a state-of-the-art facility where they're processing beef, pork, lamb. They do cooked products there. They do raw products there. They get to see how that all works. And our livestock judging team, they got to judge a class of Charolais bulls, which may not seem like a big deal to a lot of people, but most of the people down in our area will run Angus cross cattle. Now they get to see a different breed where they might learn the genetic value of a terminal sire that the Charolais bulls bring into a mother cow herd. And you don't know, they may bring that idea back to the ranch and use that to help improve their own herd.
Well, now, let me interrupt you right there, Troy. Let me interrupt you right there for a point, and you can tell me if I'm all wet. You brought up an excellent point about seeing the Charolais, etc. I would imagine that also teaches them a lot about integration into their own, like their dad's herd, etc. Learn about the extreme marbling in the meat, and they judge the meat. All of this could really help their participation in some ag event later on in life to make a living.
Well, but yeah, it helps there. And I mean, we go back to the meat quality and the Charolais and the different breed types. When we went through the meat contest, after the contest was over, they give you the results and then they show you kind of what everything is and how everything graded to help the students learn even more. They even touch on the breed characteristics of those carcasses.
Right.
So a kid that's running Angus cows, he may not understand what that translates to in a consumable product. And so it helps these kids understand, hey, this aspect that I've been in and that I enjoy with my family of raising these cattle translates into this guy's bottom line or into this dollar, the way that I feed him, the way I care for him, the type of breeding that I use.
You know, all of this is great. I just wish that more kids could be country kids, and I mean that in every sense of the word. I honestly believe that people that go through 4-H and FFA programs are more rounded, they're more versatile, and I think they're better people. You said something earlier that I absolutely agree with. You said they learned how to present themselves when they possibly are going to sit down for a job evaluation, and that is something I think these kids are better prepared for than most.
That's exactly correct. Every one of our programs, every one of our judging events or our speaking events, they require our students to be presented in a certain way. Mm-hmm. They want them in an official dress. They want them dressed appropriately for the contest. Now, the official dress is black slacks, white shirt, FFA tie, FFA jacket. But if you're in a livestock judging competition, they don't require that you have the slacks. They just require you have the black pants. In a welding program, they expect that you show up to the competition presentable in your official dress and that you bring your own equipment or your own gear to change into that's appropriate for the competition, which I think prepares students to be prepared for a versatile experience when they go into an interview situation.
Absolutely.
You don't just show up in the same clothes you're hanging out with your buddies in an interview situation. You don't just show up without your copy of your resume or your references or tools or portfolio or whatever. And we're showing these kids from the time they're in high school that, hey, if you want to be serious about winning the competition, and right now it's that judging competition or that welding competition, but in the future it's going to be the competition to get that job, then you need to be prepared. You need to be more prepared than the next guy. You need to be presentable, more presentable than the next guy. You need to have everything that the guy behind you or ahead of you doesn't have that employee is looking for.
You know, Troy,
that's what these contests make them do.
Yeah, Troy, let's talk about an issue right now that is really, it grinds on me. I really get upset because today, I'm going to state this, and you can agree or disagree. Today, I don't think that we are demanding people to do their best and put their best foot forward. And I think that we've turned into a kind of a lazy, slovenly society, and the proof is in the pudding. I think people should be forced and coerced, especially in a student setting, to do their best.
That's correct. I don't like the words forced and coerced as much as I like the words encouraged and supported.
I'll go along with that.
I think that if you hold people to a standard, they will reach that standard. But if you have no standard to be held to, then you don't improve. And I think that if you encourage and you support the children or the students or
Absolutely.
the adults or whoever to become this, and as you expect that, then they will become that. I can tell you now, I've seen both sides of that, where I haven't had high expectations and where I have had high expectations, and the difference is night and day. If you hold that expectations, they don't mess around. When we go places, I have a high expectation for my students. I also give them a high level of respect, and I give them a high level of trust. Once they break that trust, it goes away. But for an example, the hotel we were staying at had multiple FFA groups. My kids knew my standards. I would hear in the hallway of other advisors telling their students after it was curfew that they needed to come back to their hotel rooms and get in the hotel rooms. My kids knew my standards. They were in their rooms. They were quiet. They were doing what they were supposed to do because they knew the standards, and they knew the consequence of their standards.
Absolutely.
When a kid breaks one of my rules, I call a parent. That's what I do. I don't deal with it on my own. It's not my business to discipline them. It is my business to report to the parents, and them and I choose together how to affect that student.
Amen. There should be more like you. Hey, real quick, I've only got 2 minutes left, Troy. What about the future? What about ag-related jobs? What does it look like as you look into the crystal ball for the future of agriculture?
Well, the FFA creed says, I believe in the future of agriculture with a faith born not of words, but of deeds. I think that the future of agriculture is in our hands, and we need to do things. We need to not talk about it. We've got to do it. We need to show these kids how much agriculture really affects their lives. These judging competitions are one way to do it. Another way to do it is to get them involved with community members. Agronomists, they make good money. Welding inspectors, they make good money. Show them what the kids' interests are right now, how that will translate into money in their pockets when they're adults. And let them see that agricultural industry is a viable and a respectable position, and that there's more to agriculture than cows and plows.
Amen. You know what? That same course for the kids, it's too bad we can't have all the adults take the same course so they'd appreciate and respect really where their bread, butter, and beef comes from.
Exactly.
You know, I've enjoyed having you on the air, and I wish you nothing but the very best. Troy Bird, Oakley ag teacher. Sounds to me like Oakley hit a home run when they hired you. Congratulations. You're doing a great job.
Thank you very much.
All right. Come back and see us again, okay?
Yes, sir. We'll see you then.
All right. Thank you very much. Nice guy, sharp guy. Troy Bird, ag teacher over at Oakley High School, and he has got the kids on the right track. And that's Cassia County School Days, brought to you by Ambulatory Surgery Center at 1344 Highland in Burley and A Child's World at 1308 Overland in Burley, bringing you every Thursday Cassia County School Days. And I want to say thank you again to the lovely Cassia County School Communications Officer, and that is Debbie Critchfield, for lining all of these interviews up. By the way, too, don't forget Ramsey Heating and Electric and Lennox Home Comfort Systems offering rebates on home comfort systems like gas furnaces, air conditioners, and heat pumps, and you and your family will enjoy the comfort. Call 678-0459. Ramsey Heating and Electric offering warm winters and cool summers. Absolutely. Right now, we're going to go back to the phone lines, and I'll see if Wheels has our guest on the air. Wheels, is Zach all ready to go?
I am getting him ready, sir.
All right. Well, while you're waiting for that and getting him on the phone, I want to remind everybody that this Saturday, I got to get my paper right here. This Saturday, there's going to be an off-road poker run, and it's sponsored by Let's Ride. It's going to be at 10 a.m. sharp. I didn't say 10:05. I didn't say 10:30. I said 10 a.m. sharp. They're not going to wait for you. We're going to leave the Cottonwood Trailhead, and lunch will be served up at the Father and Son Campground. It's open to all ATVs, motorcycles, and UTVs, and put on by Let's Ride. Where the fun is sold, it's an off-road poker run coming up on this Saturday. Let's try that again, and I think old Wheels probably has him on the line right now. We'll talk to Zach over at Minnecasia Sales, 1321 East Main Street in Burley. Zach, good morning. How are you?
Doing good.
Well, now you and your business are the main sponsor of a segment on my program that has really gone over like gangbusters, and right now there are over 110 different countries, seriously, that are listening to Dr. History every Tuesday. Holy cow, are you getting a lot of exposure all over the world?
Yes, we are.
And are you ready to start selling windows and carpet over to Japan and the Netherlands and everything else?
Well, if we can make a sale, we'll do it.
Well, now, by the way, Zach is the father of another lovely little girl that calls in and does our Pledge of Allegiance. I've got to ask, how's Abby doing for the summer?
She's doing good.
Okay. And tell us a little bit about Minnecasia Sales at 1321 East Main Street in Burley. What exactly is Minnecasia Sales?
It's just a store my father started years ago, and just we're selling a little bit of everything, anything from your flooring to your windows and doors to lumber packages to shingles and metal roofs.
Okay. And along with that, you mean if somebody goes in there and they want to do a little bit of remodeling for the summer and want to do the roof over or upgrade their windows with those Western windows, you can give them a bid on all of that, right?
We sure can.
Okay. What else have you got over there?
Well, right now we just got 4 rolls of carpet in on a great deal that we're just going to, whoever comes in can look at the carpet, and we can just make them some really good deals. We've got some good quality carpet for really good, reasonable prices. And
all right.
Your material, your wood and everything, we don't carry a lot in stock, but if you guys give us a day or so notice, we can get prices and have the material here within 1 to 3 days.
All right. Now, what about the people that take care of some of the work? I mean, have you got a pretty good crew that you can help get that job done?
We do. We have a few contractors that we're really close with, that we trust their workmanship, that we just send them out to a job. They do free estimates, and, have never had a problem with any of the contractors we work with.
Okay. And, Zach, another thing that you've got over there, I shouldn't say thing, but other items that you have, and this is really important for the farmers and ranchers out there.
Can eat healthy.
Wait a minute. Hold on a second. Over at the studio, you're running something over me.
The high-priced specialty.
Hold on, Wheels. You got something else playing on the air. Cut that off, please. Thank you. Zach, you've also got a lot of the Tartar Farm and Rancher equipment, the panels and everything. Tell us about that.
We do. We just started carrying the Tartar line just probably in the past 4 or 5 months, and they've been a really good item for us to carry. We're selling panels pretty good. As soon as we get them in, they're going out, so we try to keep a few on hand.
Okay. And
basically anything that Tartar carries, we can pick it up for them.
Okay. Now, what about your hours over there? You don't sleep in the morning. You get up and go to work. What about Minnecasia Sales? When can they stop in and see you?
Well, I usually get here about 7:30, 8 in the morning. We're here till about 4:30. If someone can't make it in between that time frame, they can always just give us a call at the store, and we can make arrangements to meet them and help them out.
Well, I want to say thank you for all that you've done in supporting Dr. History with that segment on Tuesdays, and we want everybody to stop into Minnecasia Sales. Tell them exactly where you're located and how to get there, Zach.
We are right across the street from the Burley Airport, right next door to the Stinker gas station. Basically, if people remember where the old Whitedale bowling alley used to be, or the Whitedale Market, that's right where we're at.
All right. We're going to send them in because you are super good people. And this is Zach over at Minnecasia Sales, 1321 East Main Street in Burley. Say hi to Abby. Have her call in next week with the Pledge of Allegiance. We'd look forward to it.
I sure will. Thank you, Zeb.
All right. God bless. Take care. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
You know, that segment of Dr. History, I got to share this with you. I think Doc told me the other day that, like, it's in 110 countries right now. And, my goodness, a lot of people are tuning it in, listening to the program, and it's grown in great popularity all over the world. As a matter of fact, he went over to China, if you didn't know this story, and spoke at the major university over there, and they listen every Tuesday to Zeb at the Ranch and, of course, Dr. History, brought to you by Minnecasia Sales. Really good folks. Okay, let's see what else have I got cooking here this morning that I need to take care of. Right after we have the break at the bottom of the hour, we are going to go with Vicky's Country Gardens, and we've got a lot of questions. We've got to talk to her about her great big sale. And then also next half hour, we're going to be talking to our friend Kelly over at Western Waste Services. What are they going to do with all the garbage in the future? What are we going to do with all of our garbage? And I think he's got all the answers. So right now, we'll send it back over to Wheels at our main studio, and we'll be back in about 3 minutes. Stay tuned.
And now, back to Zeb at the Ranch on AM 1230 KBAR. To reach Zeb, call 436-2244 or toll free 1-866-927-4587. And now, here is Zeb Bell.
Oh, welcome back, and here we go. It's time for Gardening for Idiots, named aptly after me, and, of course, sponsored by Vicky's Country Garden at 185 South, 600 West of Paul. And now, ladies and gentlemen, entering stage left, the lovely Miss Vicky.
Good morning, Zeb. How are we doing on this nice, warm morning?
Well, I'll tell you what, as you and I both know, later on in the day, with the heat getting to us, it's always nice to find a shade tree and maybe some adult refreshment.
This is very true, you know, and that time, that gets earlier every day, the hotter it gets, I have found. So.
Well, we both have to work for a while right now. I understand, by the way, before we get started here, that you're going on with a big sale that started, right?
Yes, we're starting a sale today with all of our annuals are on sale. 25% off, and our tomatoes and our peppers are 25% off. So,
okay.
If anybody's still wanting to finish out some landscaping in their yard and things of that nature and want some bounce of color, we got color. We got lots of it. So come in and see us, and all of our 4 packs of perennial or of annuals and vegetables and that are on sale. So come in and check us out and see what we got.
All right, very good. Now, listen, Vicki, I've got some questions. And a lady wrote in, and she said, and I don't quite understand all of this, but she said, peony or peony, whichever flowers you want to call the name and how you want to describe it, are finished blooming. When can I relocate my peonies?
Well, it's best to it's actually best to move them in the fall if you can. I mean, that's the best time when they die down. It's the safest time to move them is in the fall. If you move them in the early spring, you lose the bloom on them, so that's why we go back to the fall. You can move them in the summertime. It's just that they're going to probably die down pretty bad on you.
Okay.
and you're not going to have any kind of foliage at all much. It's a little harder on them when they're completely leafed out and that type of thing. So if they can, fall is the best time. If you can't and you have to move them now, do it of an evening when it's cool, and make it as quick a transplant as you can. Don't leave them set in a bucket and then plant them 3 or 4 days later. I mean, have everything ready, move them immediately, use your root stimulator on them, and get them put in, dig them right up and go right over where you're putting them and put them right back down in, and do it while it's cool in the evening.
Now, you don't have to file papers with the government as part of the relocation program, do you?
No. We're still safe there so far.
Okay. Now, in this heat, and you've had this question and you've answered this question every year that you've been on this show, but it came back again. And in this heat, when is the best time to water flowers and a garden?
I like to say evenings. Evenings is a good time because they have the entire evening while it's cool to absorb their moisture and get their strength back, so that when the heat hits them the next day, they're fully hydrated and ready for the heat. Either real early in the morning while it's cool, but it's real hard on plants to water during the middle of the day. For one thing, you evaporate a lot of water, you waste a lot of water, and the plants can sunburn. And they're just better off if they can have a real good drink in the evenings or real early in the morning. Saturate them up really good while they're cool, and they can absorb it.
Okay. Now, this question came from a lady that the way she described it in the letter, and I'm going to condense it down a little bit. She said she has various little flower areas all over her lawn. And she said with all the rain and not being able to work outside, she can't keep up with the grass and the weeds and the flower beds, and she's ready to just take the lawnmower and destroy all of them. What can she do?
Well, if it's seedy grasses and just seed weeds, if she can go in one time and get them weeded out, get it cleaned out, there are some chemicals. There's a product called Gallery. There's one that's called Dimension. There's different products that you can put down in that soil that will stop those seeds from germinating and stop those weed seeds. Just remember, you can't put them in a vegetable garden because you're still usually trying to use garden seeds. So you have to be careful there. There's other products that'll work in a garden, but in flower beds, if it's a heavy grass infestation in some flower beds, we have a product called Grass Killer that can be sprayed over the top of your petunias or your roses or your raspberries or your whatevers, and it will kill only grass. Just make sure you don't hit ornamental grass because it's non-selective. It kills all grasses.
Okay.
But there are ways of getting around this.
All right. Another lady wrote in this week, and she said, I've never had this problem before, but when we started watering in the spring and then all the rains came, she noticed that her lawn in different areas has different shades of green. What happened?
Well, it can be a couple of things. It could be that she's got low spots that are that's holding too much water, which is lightening the color of her lawn, getting it more yellowed. And the higher spots are staying drier, so they're staying a darker green. It could be the starting if it's in circles, like in big patches. Could be the starting of what's called fairy ring, which is a fungus in the lawn. I think if you'll watch your watering, don't overwater, and kind of get a more balanced watering, you may see it level out. If not, I would start with a fungicide on the lawn and make sure you haven't got any fungus, because if you don't have fungus, it's not going to hurt anything. But if you do have something starting, it will take care of it in the early stages.
Now, this sounds like the same problem that I talked to you about in my lawn about a year or so ago, that we noticed some lighter green patches, and you said was a fungus, and that's how we treated it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and it worked.
You can treat it with the fungicide, then come back in with a fertilizer. Don't fertilize first. Treat it, and then come in with a fertilizer and see if you can get a fertilizer that's got a little iron in it, and then come in. And sometimes you have patches of alkali in lawns that stay lighter green, and you can soil sulfur those areas on the lawn, and it will release the nutrient and the iron and that's there to the plants. But sometimes you're tying the nutrient up in those alkali patches, and you can get patches of alkali. You see it in the fields all the time of the different, where they're real light green, the beets and stuff, and it's just an alkali patch.
I did have another letter come in this last week, and they had a question, but I got to be honest with you, the handwriting, I had a hard time trying to decipher exactly what the question was, and I read it, and I think it was, we planted our garden back about 3 weeks ago, and nothing seems to be coming up, and could there be a problem with the soil? Now, that's the gist of what I think they were asking in the letter.
Well, there could be a problem with the soil, because if they got the seeds in before that heavy rain, with all that rain, and if they have a kind of a heavy clay soil, it can crust over, and the plants can't get through. So you need to kind of go through and loosen that, kind of hoe it and loosen that top soil. If you know where your seeds are at, dig down and see if the seeds rotted. Or possibly we've had a lot of problems with birds coming in and taking the seeds out.
Oh.
So first off, I would go through and find my rows, dig down, check the seed, see if I've got healthy seeds, see if it's mushed up, if it's gone and there's no sign of it, then you know something ate it. You may have to just replant. But the main thing is don't let the ground crust, because those little plants can't chisel through some of that hard crust.
All right, we've got a caller with a question, real fast caller. I've only got 2 minutes left. Go ahead.
Alrighty, I got a strawberry patch that's producing some good strawberries, but the leaves, a lot of the leaves are yellow. I'll listen off the air because I can't hear Vicky on the phone. What do I need to do?
Oh, okay.
Just normal.
All right, he said, Vicky, did you hear him? He's got strawberry plants that look yellow.
Yeah, he's got some. I would soil sulfur those strawberries, and then come in with a little bit of fertilizer on them, or foliar fertilize them. But strawberry plants will do that sometimes, but usually if you've got the whole plant going yellow, I'm thinking, again, you've got some alkalinity problems that you've got issues with, and the soil sulfur will help those, and you'll have better tasting berries at the same time.
Oh, my goodness. Now, real quick, tell us again, Vicky's Country Garden, 185 South, 600 west of Paul, and you are having a sale. Let's talk about that again.
Yes, we are. We're having a sale on all of our annuals, 4-packs, the petunias, geraniums, all of our annuals, and our tomatoes and our peppers are all on sale 25% off. So if you're still needing some garden supplies and needing to bounce up some color, we got lots of color. So come see us. And we just got in a whole new shipment of the cutest metal statuary. There's all kinds. You got to come see us. Real unique stuff. Come in and talk to us about it.
Okay, and real quick also, if they're doing some landscaping and kind of dress the place up a little bit, you've got all the decorative rock and everything else, don't you?
We just got in a shipment of new bark. We've got river rock in now. We have our gray granite, our tan rock. We're ready for the summer. We can pretty much spruce up anybody's yard any direction they want it.
All right, Vicky's Country Garden. I'm going to let you tell everybody where you're located and what your hours are, Vicky.
All righty, we are on the Burley-Paul Highway. If you're heading towards Paul, you can't miss us. Our address is 185 South, 600 West, so we're just right on the Burley-Paul Highway. Our hours are 9 to 6 Monday through Friday, 9 to 5 on Saturdays, and we're open 11 to 4 on Sundays. And just come in with, and if you've got a problem, come see us. We'll solve it.
All right, and the Vicky's tip of the week is what?
Don't water your lawns and that in the middle of the day. Water evenings or early mornings. You're wasting water if you're watering during the middle of the day in this heat.
All right. The lovely Miss Vicky at Vicky's Country Gardens. God bless you. We'll talk to you next Thursday, Vicky. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Zeb.
All righty. Take care. Nice lady right there. Vicky at Vicky's Country Gardens. It's time for the weather. And the weather is brought to us this hour by Scarrow's Meats. Don Scarrow and the rest of the crew, oh my goodness, located at 331 North Road, Jerome. And the number to call, 324-7657. They do sell taste one bite at a time. And Scarrow's Meats offers an assortment of specialty meats to add a little variety to your next meal. And they use the Ross tenderizers. Oh, it is delicious. And they've still got that $300 tax return meat package where you can get beef and pork and chicken and cheese. Oh, it's delicious for just $300. Wow! They do sell taste one bite at a time. And right now, here is the weather.
Here's your weather forecast for Zeb at the Ranch. It is going to be a nice day today, slightly breezy. Winds out of the northwest right around 9 miles an hour. Some clouds in the area, but not too bad. High of 83. Tonight, expect a low near 56. Now for tomorrow, the winds are going to be picking up out of the west right around 20 miles an hour, but it's going to be nice and sunny. High of 84 with an overnight low of 50. That's going to continue through Saturday. Still going to be a little bit on the windy side. Out of the west right around 13 miles an hour. Sunny skies. High of 83 with an overnight low of 50 for Sunday. Sunny skies. High of 84. And as we go back to work on Monday, looks like mostly sunny skies. High of 90. That's your weather forecast for Zeb at the Ranch.
No, thank you very much. And brought to you by Scarrows Meats this hour. Don Scarrow and the rest of his great crew at 331 North Road, Jerome. Telephone number to call, 324-7657. They do sell taste, one bite at a time. Oh, I think we're going to go back to the phone line real quick, and I believe we have Kelly with Western Waste on the phone, and let's see if Wheels has got him all set to go. What do you say, Wheels? Is he there?
Yeah, he's here.
All right, my friend, thank you. Kelly, good morning over at Western Waste Services, always at your disposal. How are you?
I'm great, Zeb. Thank you. How are you?
Well, not bad. It's summertime. You don't have to wear a jacket. And I'm telling you, I'm looking forward to all the amenities that summer offers us. But you guys are busy 24/7, 365. What's going on in Western Waste Services? Always at everybody's disposal. I would imagine during the summer months, you probably have more chores to do than ever, don't you?
Yeah, summer's really busy for us. We have a lot of special events where we supply the portable restrooms, and a lot of people have 4th of July parties and birthday parties and whatnot throughout the summer, and so we have a lot of extra portable restrooms go out, and the auto carts to take care of their needs, and that seems to work real well for us and for the customers. Plus, people are always cleaning up in their yards, and so we got the part-time dumpsters where they can just get them for a week or two and clean up, and we dump them and take them away, and saves them going to the landfill.
Kelly, let me ask.
We're busy.
Let me ask you this.
Everything else.
Let me ask you this, Kelly, in regards to those dumpsters. Now, I'm sure they come in various sizes, as I've said on my program, and basically, can you drop them off to the people, and then they'll fill them up, and then you'll come and get them? Is that correct?
Yes, absolutely. We can usually, if they call, we have several different sizes from the yard and a half up to the 8 yards, and then we have the big 30-yard construction roll-offs if they have a lot. But if we have about 24 hours notice, we can deliver it right to the spot where you want it, and there's no extra charge. We'll actually leave them for a month. We like to get them dumped at least once a month. But they can fill them up, and when they're full, we come and dump them, and if they need them left, we will leave them, and when they're done, we just dump them and pick them up and remove them.
All right.
Real well for the customers.
Another great service that you have are the Go Minis storage units. How are those going over, Kelly? I would imagine a lot of people could use those.
Yeah, that has been a real success story. We've ordered a bunch of new ones, and we're kind of scrambling to stay in them, but we actually have a locked, secure facility with security cameras that you can fill them up, and then we can take them back to our facility at no extra charge, and we'll store them, and you have the key to the storage unit. Nobody else does. Or you can store them on your property and keep them there just a monthly rent. So those have worked out really well. People moving and just if you need a little extra storage, they're sealed up really nice. They're weatherproof, and we don't get any mice or anything in them. And they worked out real well. That fit in real well with the rest of our business.
And you know, the thing that I'm so impressed with, and I know I've had a lot of people that have called in and complimented you, is your garbage pickup service. I mean, you folks are right on time. Your people are really nice people. Your trucks, it's fun to watch that great big arm go out and pick up that garbage container and dump it in the back of the truck. I got to hand it to you. You folks really are always at everybody's disposal.
Well, thank you, Zeb. We appreciate those compliments, and we take a lot of pride in our people. We do feel we have the superior service people in the industry, and they do care, and they will take care of you and go the extra mile to make things convenient for you.
Let me ask you this question. You know, I had a lady the other day call me after I got off the program, and they said they were new to the area, and they said, well, how do we go about getting on the route service for Western Waste Services? What is the way of doing it? Do they just call the office and you help them get everything set up?
Yeah. It's as simple as calling into the office. We have several numbers in different areas for the Burley area and Twin Falls and Jerome and all the surrounding areas. But if they just call into the office, we have 4 people answering phones, and it's as simple as giving us your address, and we can usually deliver within 24 hours, and you're on the route sheet, and it's that simple. We pride ourselves in being able to set somebody up in less than 2 minutes.
And locally owned and operated. You're a real success story right here in the Magic Valley, aren't you?
Well, thank you. And we're successful because of all of the great customers that we have. Well, and the people that we have working with us.
I'll tell you what, I'm real high on Western Waste Services, and they've been a part of my program for a long, long time. Always at your disposal. The number to call, 734-6969. Kelly, have a great summer and come back and visit with us again, would you?
Thank you, Zeb, and we will, and you enjoy your summer.
All right, sir. Thank you very much. Really nice people. And that's Kelly over at Western Waste. And I want to tell you how much I'm very, very proud of all of my advertisers and sponsors. And they do a great, great job. Western Waste Services, always at your disposal. Thank you very much. Let's see. I got to get some public service announcements in here real quick. And this one was just sent to me this morning. I understand that pianist, I got to add a little class and culture now to my program, pianist Jim Hendricks, professor of music at Chicago State University, will be in concert at the historic Wilson Theater Saturday, June 27th at 7 p.m. Tickets are on sale at the Wilson Theater, the bookstore, Welch's Music in Burley, and at the door. And I understand that tickets are $5 for 17 years of age and under, $10 for adults, and $25 for a family. Now, this Jim Hendricks is internationally known pianist, and he's performed with such greats as the Glenn Miller Orchestra, Dave Brubeck. Oh, well, if he's been with Dave Brubeck, he must be good. Della Reese, and many, many more. And for more information, contact my buddy, my friend, Gary Shoresman at 436-3982. That number again, 436-3982 for that pianist Jim Hendricks concert at the Wilson Theater on Saturday, June 27th at 7 p.m. Now, I did mention, and I want to mention again, that Let's Ride is going to have an off-road poker run, and that's going to be on Saturday, sponsored by Let's Ride, and it's going to start at 10 a.m. sharp up at the Cottonwood Trailhead. If you don't know how to get there, ask. Everybody knows how to get there. I'm sure they'll tell you. And then they're going to drive up to Father and Son Campground, where they will serve lunch. And thanks go to Let's Ride on this off-road poker run going on this Saturday, June 13th. Woo! Got time for one more caller, so give me a jingle on the landline, and we'd love to talk with you. This is June Dairy Month, and we want to say thank you to the United Dairymen of Idaho, and, of course, all the activities going on with June Dairy Month. Next week on the program, we'll be giving away more prizes, if you will, for June Dairy Month that are representative of various businesses around the area, so be sure and tune in. It's going to be a lot more fun for the entire month, June Dairy Month. And also, next week, we are going to be on Thursday over at Denny's Restaurant for our Zeb's Lunch Bunch, Zeb at the Ranch, thank you very much. And that's at Denny's, and we'll be there next Thursday at 11:30. Wheels, are you having a good or a bad day over there?
Well,
come on, kid, answer the question.
Well, but, just besides the mishaps and everything with the news and whatnot and the whole thing going over you when you were talking today.
Yeah, now that did cause me a little concern. And yes, I did pull up my 357, but you're safe now.
Well, thank gosh. And, that's just, I was telling Steve, at the bottom of the break for the funeral announcements, like, it seems like today everything's having the mind of its own and just doing what it's wanting to do.
Yeah, but something, Wheels, that's the worst thing that can happen in the radio business. When you rely on equipment to do the job, it ain't gonna happen.
I know. I wish you could just go out in the road and have a big old megaphone and be able to just reach out to a bunch of people instead of having to go through technology.
I remember when I started in the radio business, and I didn't know Kamir from Sikkim about the equipment. And it seems like when equipment starts blowing up and you don't know what knob to turn, you don't know what to grab first, and you just sit back and the sweat's rolling down your face and you don't know about your job status, It gets a little scary, doesn't it?
It does. It gets a little aggravating, too. I don't know. It's... stuff like that happens, and then I put my hands up in the air because I don't know how to work the rotator thing over here.
You just throw your hands up in the air and you yell a 5-letter word, and that word is Jerry!
Yeah, or the 4-letter word, Gina.
There you go. Hey, thanks, Wheels. Have a great weekend, all right? Right now, I want to tell everybody about our friends at your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Oh, boy. They're going to make sure that you're safe for a free pre-trip safety check. The best right there. Visual inspections of your vehicles to make sure everything is where it should be and wearing the way it should be. You stop in, and while you're there, check out all the tires. They've got a lot of them on sale, like the Wildcat AT2 on sale. Great light truck and SUV tire, all-season traction, smooth, quiet ride. The very, very best in brake service, and I can attest to that. They really know brakes. Front-end alignments, shocks and struts, batteries, it's all there with the best in service. They take care of you at all 7 locations. Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family in Paul, John on Poline in Twin Falls, and Randy on Overland in Burley. Your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. You stop in and see them today. That's it for me for this week. I'm going to wrap it up and put it back in the box, and I'm going to say stay tuned for Steve Minton's program coming up right after this, after the CBS News. And we'll be back in the saddle next Monday morning at 8:06 to ride the horse for 3 hours right here on K-Bar, 12:30 a.m., and streaming live on the internet, zebbell.com. And always remember, the way things were are the way things ought to be. We'll see you Monday. Have a great day.